It's your boys. It's your boy.
What up, everybody?
What's going down, everybody? This is Talking Elite, episode dos. Your boy, Brother St. Polo.
And it's your boy Don Sean, guys, and we are here for episode 2. We are live. We are live today on Facebook. We are live today on YouTube. We are live
We're live
today on
everywhere.
Twitter, and we are live brand new today on Twitch. Guys, we are
Except we are
everywhere.
live everywhere except for Instagram.
Everywhere except for Instagram. So Instagram, you guys will have to catch the replay. But
that's
guys,
all
thank
right.
you guys so much for joining us on our journey. We are here for episode 2. And guys, guess what? There's so much to get into and talk about today. So much happening this weekend just in the world of wrestling and MMA. You have AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan. You have, some WWE stuff. There was some GCW
Do we have
stuff.
some
Maybe
WWE
we get to
stuff?
it. Maybe we don't. There's so much.
We have ourselves a show ahead of us, and then we have apparently there's a thing called Survivor Series on Sunday. I believe one of us will have a hot take coming up on that. But I believe one of us will have a hot take coming up on Sunday Survivor Series. But let's get down to it, Sean. Let's not waste any time, man. How about that? How about that Full Gear Saturday night, man?
Yeah, let's talk about Full Gear. I mean, man,
let's get into it.
Let's talk about the buy-in, right? The buy-in, you had Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa, and they defeated Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose via pinfall.
What a buy-in match, bro.
Definitely a buy-in match. I won't lie, it definitely took a bit to get going, and it seemed like a little all over the place. And then at a certain point, like where I was okay for it to end, it kept going.
And with Serena Deeb, in her interference and her interaction, not even the interference, but shoot, it just added to the ongoing rivalry between Shida and Deeb herself. This
which is also really surprising because remember last episode we talked about how Serena Deeb was announced to be on the buy-in, and then she's no longer on the buy-in. Now we have
then she stepped out. I'm like,
Thunder Rosa.
Did she step out of the buy-in, or it's one of those things of did she step out of the buy-in on purpose, or did she just do this to see if Shida would step up to it? Because this TBS championship thing is an ongoing situation, so we're gonna see how this
championship thing's definitely an ongoing situation. All 4 of these women, I'm pretty sure,
are in the next round. Yes,
they are
all in the next round, and they all have incoming battle coming up. So I believe Shida is going against Nyla Rose. And then Jamie Hayter will be going against Thunder Rosa.
Absolutely, and that match to me is the match to tell us who's gonna take it, in my opinion. I definitely think.
Oh, what?
I do. I know that's.
I don't know, Don Sean.
That's a bold statement, but
that is a very bold statement.
It makes sense because Jamie Hayter rolls with the Doctor DMD. She rolls with her crew. DMD is the champion. She has a long history with Thunder Rosa. Jamie Hayter has some history with Thunder Rosa due to that. I'm excited for that match, man. Jamie Hayter's been very, very impressive as of weeks of late, and since she's
as of late, she took out Anna Jay, who I thought was really destined to go far in the tournament. I do believe, however, she the brick wall will be Thunder Rosa. I
will say this, man. I love Thunder Rosa so much.
I can't see Thunder Rosa losing this tournament.
I can't keep watching her put everybody else over. I appreciate what she's doing.
Because I know her time is coming.
Yeah,
her time is coming, dude.
It has to be, especially with the way she came in with the whole NWA contract buyout situation.
Exactly, and then she came in as NWA Women's World Champion as well, too. So she gained a lot of heat.
When she came in too, it was reported. I mean, I don't have the direct source right now, guys, so forgive me for that. But when Thunder Rosa, and if you guys look back through articles, and it was spoken about many times, Thunder Rosa has a deeper involvement with the AEW's women's division. She does do her own thing. Again, last episode we talked about how she is one of the main faces of Mission Pro Wrestling. She owns her own all-women's wrestling organization. But she took a big step in for the AEW women's division. And honestly, in my opinion, since she came in to lend a hand, there's been a lot more talent showing up on Dark and Elevation that are top-notch and could be signed. There's so many more great women's matches happening here in AEW. So shouts to Thunder Rosa. I definitely think she gets a hard-fought battle win over Jamie Hayter and then takes it in the final against Hikaru Shida. but it would make
In
more
the
sense.
final, oh man, you have her.
It
Wait,
would it
because I
would
have to
make
look
more
at
sense for Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa to go down
Don
the
Sean. I
final.
gotta look at that bracket again, and I have to see where in the world does Jade Cargill fall into this scenario, because she's really my dark horse to go to the finals. But I don't know if she runs into Thunder Rosa before the finals.
I have to look at it too because it's kind of like that situation. You know, that's why I love New Japan so much because they call it A block and B block, so you kind of know who's on what side. You
Right.
know, but yeah, I mean, we definitely got to take another look at that bracket, and then
Yeah.
we'll definitely
Because I
get
do
back to
know
that. You know, I think we're gonna do a little special coming up soon, guys, and
I
then we'll
do know
definitely do
Jade
something like that.
faces Red Velvet
Yeah, she's gonna
coming
blow
up.
through her. Honestly, I
You
mean,
think
I know what they're
so?
trying, I know what they're trying to do
Yeah.
with the storyline carrying over from Roads to the
From their
Top and
last
all
match,
that.
and then
You know, yeah, well, as well as their last match as well. But
right.
you know, honestly, and this is no shade to Red Velvet, she's a great talent. I think she needs a lot of work. You know, she could polish it up a bit. So I don't
Of
think there's
course,
any
there's
reason
always work
for.
that could be done. But
I definitely don't think there's
you think
anything
Jade is
worth.
just gonna blow
I
by
think
her, huh?
I think they need Jade to squash her. You know what I mean?
Squash, jeez, man,
Yeah,
squash,
I mean, yeah,
a
because if you want to
squash.
show, dude, Jade is a dominant force, man.
I
Jade's a
mean, she
dominant
is,
force.
but I don't
There's
think you
no
you
reason
squander
that
Red Velvet like that. You have her
I
put
get
up a
that, but
fight.
there's no reason that Jade Cargill, in my opinion, should go through this crazy tournament style bracket where she's getting pushed to the limit every round. Maybe they do that, so it makes sense for whoever does beat her that maybe she's exhausted, she's been pushed to the limit week after week. But
I think
yeah, no,
at least this starts her push to the limit, if you
she's got to
ask me.
she's got to squash her like a bug.
No, come on now. You kind of you're giving a little credit to Red Velvet. I think I need to give her a little bit more credit than what she deserves.
Hey, you know what I'll do? I'll
A little
promise
bit
you
more
guys
credit.
this. Everybody that's joining us, I will promise you guys this. My bro Saint Polo, I'll promise you this. I will go back this week and I will rewatch some more Red Velvet tape, and I'll try and come back with a
Don't be like
better
Shaq and
opinion.
call her like Red Velvet Cupcake and all this jazz,
Well,
man.
I
Like,
definitely not
put some
calling her nothing
respect on
like
her
that.
name. You
I
feel
definitely
me?
didn't say nothing like that. All I said
Put,
is, unfortunately, I think she gets squashed like a bug.
put some respect on her name, Don Sean. Like honestly. But switching gears, going in from the buy-in to the main card, and whoo, Don Sean, you called it for the opening match, man. You called it.
Didn't I?
Nice. I am not mad at your call either. MJF
I
and Darby Allin opening up the show, and my God, man, talk
and I
about the
said
future. The future's like Allstate for AEW. It's in good hands, my man.
it
It's
is in
so
forever
much
good
good
hands.
hands.
I mean, the
Like
pillars
the
all put them on.
psychology, the timing, the accuracy. The match was just from start to finish. It had its blunders, but man, oh man,
What
Darby
a
and
build.
MJF did the damn thing.
What a build. I will say this, man, watching that match, Darby Allin, what is his longevity in this business with the way he is going
With the
out
way
there, putting it
yo,
all on the line? And dude, do I say I love it? I mean, I love it, but
he gives
Jesus,
his
dude.
body to the business, and I understand the perspective that Darby comes from. Like, if you're gonna do this, man, my man's gonna commit to this all the way. He is not gonna take a back step. He's not gonna take one false move. My man, like, literally plunged himself. Once MJF you thought you was safe, huh? You thought
Yeah.
you was safe, but MJF plungering outside, then he does a coffin drop outside of the ring mid of the match. Can't say much about Darby Allin, and what he gives to the business. Yeah, MJF called him a glorified stuntman. Where have we heard that before? But sheesh.
Yeah, man.
But sheesh, man. I think this takes it a wee bit of notch up from what we have seen in the past.
It definitely took it a notch up. I mean, I love the intensity from both wrestlers for sure. MJF again showing why he is indeed one of the stars
Salt of
in
the
the
earth. Let's
future.
call it. Hey, Don Sean. I said it before. Put some respect on this man's name. He said he called his shot. My man said he was gonna win. He was gonna win with a single headlock takedown. What did he win with?
A single headlock takedown.
Talk to me. Salt of the earth,
Listen,
my man does
he
not
is
hold
the
back.
salt of the earth, and he's not holding back. He lets you know a lot more than he should, but you guys don't realize he's telling us it because we're invested in his character. We're like, oh man, this guy's so full of it. We need him to
He
go. But Jesus,
literally and
fire way to start the pay per
physically,
view. And what I tell you, I told you it was just gonna be a build until they can hit the
and
climax.
boy,
Fortunately, that's
it
not the way it went for sure. But man, if I
dude,
had to grade this match, I would give this an A minus for sure.
A minus. Wow.
Yes,
Just
I would
what?
have
Okay, where
100%.
does the I must ask, where does the minus come in?
Because it was the first match. And
Damn.
honestly, it was so great. I wish, and after watching the whole card, I would rather it have taken the place of the inner circle match
Oh wow, no.
because of how great it was. So
And I'm
that's
gonna get
why.
to that. We're gonna get to that match potentially in a little bit, but I feel like the inner circle, Minneapolis Street Fight overall was a filler match. It was a
100%.
the match before the main event. I don't think I put MJF and Darby before that. So like the decision to open it because you got with me on that last week. It's kind of like it was like a decision that nobody would be mad with because you knew they was gonna steal the show. But overall, it's like, well, Sammy Guevara is the TNT champion. Do you showcase your champion first, or do you showcase your other two pillars who haven't really had an opening match like that on a pay per view? I don't recall Darby or MJF having an open match in any of the last few pay per views.
So I know in regards to the pay per view, MJF opened All In and he opened Double or Nothing, the first one.
I mean,
He did open
in a way,
Double or Nothing.
yes. But wasn't it a battle royal to open up Double or Nothing though? Are you
No.
talking about the very first Double or Nothing?
Yeah, but no, it wasn't a battle royal. The battle royal was on the buy-in. The battle royal was on the buy-in, so
Okay.
that doesn't count. I'm talking about the official pay-per-view. MJF was the opening match. I'm almost 100% sure because he has bragged about that in the past. How he was the first, the first person to earn an AEW victory and all that. Listen, I would say again that the minus just comes from more again just the placement. I love that it was the opener because it stole the show to start the show. It gave you
Yes.
super high expectations. There was, like you said, a couple blunders, nothing
Exceeded
too
every
serious
bit.
though. Nothing too
Yeah, but
serious. So that's why I would just kind of drop it down. Again, it's not
damn
like I
the
would sit here and
minus.
say
You just
like if it was an A plus 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 plus, it would be,
Oh, I could do A plus plus,
you
but
know,
I'm
it
gonna
would
give him a solid A, man. No minus. A no minus.
A no minus. All right.
A no
Hey, I mean
minus.
that's why we're two individuals, guys. My
I
opinion, his
respect
opinion.
it.
Great match, regardless. Again, we've been spoiled with pro wrestling. So thank you guys for those
Generously
of you
spoiled with
joining
pro
us.
wrestling.
Oh man, they've been spoiling us like we're babies, bro. Just here's the pacifier, here's your bottle, here's
Like
your snacks, here's
we're
everything.
just enjoying
Enjoy
what
it
we're getting here at the penthouse, my man. Like this
All
is
right,
Talking
guys.
Elite
If you guys
episode
are
number
joining
2.
us, we just want to say thank you guys so much. Again, we are live today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you are here with us, please, guys, please hit that like button. Please hit that heart button. Please hit that share. If you're joining
And
us
hit
on
subscribe.
YouTube, hit that subscribe. If you're joining us on Twitch, hit that follow. We appreciate all of you guys so much for coming here. Again, as you guys can see at the bottom, we're doing our full gear review. We already talked about the buy-in match. Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa defeating Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose. And we also as well just spoke about the opening match for Full Gear, MJF and defeating Darby Allin via pinfall. And again, great way to start the pay-per-view. Now we're moving into match number 2. The Lucha Brothers defeat FTR to retain the AEW Tag Team Championship.
Under scrutinous circumstances, I might add. Under
Oh my!
scrutinous
I mean, look,
circumstances.
bro. That's FTR's fault for going to put on masks.
Yo, bro, off rip. I'm just gonna skip the pleasantries to my grade, and I'm gonna give this a B off because of that ending.
I gave it a B plus.
Okay, because of the ending, Don
Because
Sean.
of the
I like
ending.
that's the only thing that really got me about the match. I like the match.
So bad.
The match was really good. Like it really showcased the Lucha Brothers high flying ability against FTR's right. Can't say much about FTR style once more, man. They took the Lucha Brothers to the ringer. They are a rugged, rough, and tough tag team.
They're just such a homage to classic tag team technical
That's what it
wrestling.
is.
Again, like I every time I talk about FTR, you hear me mention the Hart Foundation. That's just who they remind me of, and I don't know if that's
I mean, they remind me of Arn and Tully.
yeah, I mean, look at that. Another great tag team. Again, are
They
we
bring me
giving them
a
too much, right? By saying that this is who they
right.
remind
I
us
feel
of,
like
right?
FTR is
I don't think
yo.
we're
F,
giving them even enough credit
Sean, I feel
because
like
of how good
FTR
they
is just in a
truly
league of
are.
their own. They're just a league of their own right now. I mean, they're writing their own history. They're
They
literally
really
writing
are.
their own
And
history
again, just like I said last week, they're getting to the point where they're like a Dudleys, they're like a Hardys, they're like a Legion of Doom. They're out and about
of
collecting
this
tag team
generation.
titles.
Of this
Absolutely.
generation.
They've held the NXT tag team champions. They've held the Raw, the SmackDown tag team champions. They've held, now the AEW tag team champions. Now the AAA tag team champions. What's to stop them now from getting the Impact tag team champions? Right? Like, look, the door is open, and these guys are doing great. Again,
Hell,
I don't
go
think we
further.
give them.
Hell, man. You said Impact. I'm gonna go as far to say what will stop them from getting the New Japan Tag Team Championship.
Which ones, the junior heavyweight or the heavyweight? They're
No,
so
the heavyweight, my
great.
man. What will
I
stop
know,
them from
of
becoming
course, but that's what I'm saying. It's like they can go any route right now. I don't
yeah,
think there's anything wrong they can do. I love that they have Tully Blanchard in their corner. It's just so great for
such a
them. I
coup.
love this work that they're
Such
doing
a
as
coup.
well with Andrade and just they're doing what they do. They're so over with their personas and their gimmicks. Dax and Cash, bro. They're to me two of the top guys for sure.
Top
And I
guys,
hate to
baby.
say it, man.
Shout
I
out to them
hate to
top
say it
guys, man.
because man, and I'm a huge Young Bucks fan, and anybody who knows me personally knows I'm all about the merch when it comes to the Young Bucks and all this stuff. If you guys look in this case right here behind me, you will see nothing but Young Bucks and the Elite, and guess
Oh,
who
we're
else
gonna
is
get to
launched in
those.
there?
We're gonna get to
Guess who
those
else is
traders
lumped
in a
in there?
bit.
Those
We're gonna,
top guys are lumped in that toy chest as well, guys.
we're gonna get
But
to
I
those
don't have them with
traders.
their belts that they came with on. So sorry, guys. You don't
I
get
don't
that
think
much respect in my case, but I love you guys. What
I
a
don't think
great
FTR
match.
would do
Lucha
what they
Brothers,
would have done.
again. Lucha Brothers, and that's just us talking about the guys who took the loss, guys. Now let's talk about the Lucha Brothers. I mean, Ray Phoenix and Penta El Cerro. Can you say enough about them? Their
Yo,
style is so lucha meets strong style meets just
it's
technical
just
great
different.
wrestling. It's so different. I mean, Ray is like Darby Allin. This guy puts his body on the line to do these high risk, high flying spots, and it's like, wow, Ray Phoenix, man, you are a monster. And you know
Not
what's
to
crazy is they're
segue.
both heavyweight championship talent at the tag.
Okay, not to segue. I didn't want to segue from the fact of the Lucha Brothers being a solid rock hard tag team, but I'm gonna ask you when they separate, because I know it's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
Who takes the world title first?
Ooh, if they're smart, they would give it to Ray because
Ray
Ray.
first. Well, I'm saying Penta should win the world title first. I think you're like the second or third person who has said like Ray Phoenix should be the world champion before Penta. I feel
I
like
say that because look, right? If since we were segueing here, guys, apologize for the tangent, but let's talk about the Lucha Brothers, right? Penta El Cerro has been the Impact Heavyweight Champion on one or two prior occasions, I believe, right? But Ray Phoenix is the guy who Kenny Omega beat for the AAA Omega Campeon. You know what I mean?
I,
Like he was the champion. So and again, okay, they're different. They're different organizations, and while Impact at the time
and
wasn't
they
as
do
strong,
operate very much
there
differently.
was it was a great title run, And when Penta competed on All In, he was I think he had just lost the Impact Heavyweight title, or he still was the active Impact champion. I say this though because Ray Phoenix brings a different, just something different than his brother does. Penta's been a heavyweight champion before.
Right.
You know he could carry the belt. You know he could compete with the best. For me, those questions haven't been answered about Ray Phoenix on a major scale. We can see it, and as fans, we can guess it, right? But
I mean, you can
now
guess. You said he's gonna carry the title first before Penta.
that's what I'm saying. We can see it and we can guess it. That's me guessing, right? That's not me guaranteeing. I can't
I mean,
guarantee he's going to. That's just me taking a wild guess.
hey,
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
absolutely right.
based off of the skill he shows, based off of what he shows, in my personal opinion, I would like to see it on Ray. before I see it on Penta. I know Penta can be the heavyweight champion. I want to see if Ray Phoenix can do it for AEW. It's different in AAA. It is. It's 100% different. You know,
I
by the
want to
way, who just
see.
had to cancel the show because they were getting threats from a major drug cartel in Mexico. You know.
Wait.
Yes. Reports came out.
What? What?
Yes, reports came out that a drug cartel sent AAA a message stating that if they didn't want innocent blood spilled, they would cancel their next event, and they canceled it to make sure that there was nothing bad going on. Whatever it is, I hope the situation gets worked out.
I
AAA is a
really
very
do,
great
but
promotion with some
that's what I'm
great
saying. Like,
people.
what? What is the situation? No one knows the situation behind it.
I
Like, why it
personally
just
don't.
got
I personally
what?
don't. I've read into
Yeah.
it a little bit. There's obviously no real, nobody's personally invested or involved in that. So yeah, but to get back to it with the Lucha Brothers, just like he was saying, I mean, as individuals, they're both main event talent. So
World
when,
Championship caliber wrestlers, the Lucha
but
Brothers, both
that's
members of the
something we
Lucha
could
Brothers.
say about so many of the wrestlers in AEW, which is why I can't wait until we get to the final part of this review so we could talk about me and Bro St. Polo's predictions for what the future can hold for the AEW World Title. But yeah, let's. Do you have anything you want to say about the Lucha Brothers and who you believe will be the first to hold a belt?
I'm gonna go with Penta to be completely honest. As somebody, I've seen Penta's work in Impact as world champion. It was really, really good. His charisma is there. His style is there. It's very much polished. I think a little bit more polished than Ray Phoenix. You could have a scenario though, and this is where I was thinking about when you was going on your tangent about Ray. Penta could win the title and then he could drop it to Ray if it was to really work out like that. You know, I I really do believe that like if these guys were to go their route organically though, it doesn't have to be like, Penta, beats the hell out of Ray and then they have their own route. Like if they organically like segue into singles competition and then Penta is to win the world title and then some way Ray finds his way to get to Penta in the world title, man, oh man, I think Penta would do that nod and he would take that. But I mean, Ray would do that nod and like take the job and take the title from Penta. But I think out of those two, I would go with Penta. That's just me. But overall, together, the Lucha Brothers are just
respect. They're beasts.
they're just something else, man. As a tag team, they're literally like you can give them the argument they are best tag team in the world. And really and truly, like if you have the AEW World Tag Team Champions, your case of being the best tag team in the world does speak for itself. Because really and truly, what other tag team division and well outside of New Japan, but what other tag team division can you rock with? What other tag team division is there?
Listen,
but
man,
AEW?
I could sit here and name tag teams from a bunch of different organizations that can come in
Yeah,
and put up a great fight. But in regards to the strength of the tag team division, I think AEW
there
is
is nothing. There is nothing like All Elite Wrestling's tag team division, dude. Like
I mean, the
they're
Young Bucks made a point at that initial press conference. This is one of our focuses, and it most sure
and sure
has been.
enough, it has become like art to these guys. Like tag,
Agreed.
it is a rare art form that has been lost, and you see
Yeah.
guys like FTR, and then you got the Varsity Blondes who haven't been around as of late, but damn it, the hell, they remind me of a younger version of the Rockers. If they really do find their way, I'm like, dude, this tag team crop is really, really
I mean,
young,
from bottom to top, from who they're enhancing to who's
right?
already
To young to seasoned
studs.
vets, a
The
special
acclaim
crop of talent,
Beast
man.
2.0 Beast. I mean,
Right,
we
even
can't even
2.0,
forget.
who haven't had shine like that on television like that. They've had their Dark and Elevation, then they had their run-ins with Moxley and then Darby and then Kingston. But outside of that, 2.0 hasn't really had shine like that. But I know their time is coming soon, though.
I
Soon
mean,
again.
there's so many, and that's the thing. I mean, just again, shout out to AEW, great tag team division. I can go all night talking about it. But before we move on, I did want to correct myself because I did speak about a tag team in episode 1 that I would love to see come challenge the winner of this match, and that was I called them La Revolution, and I'm sorry guys, it's La Rebellion, and it's Mecha Wolf and
Okay.
Bestia. That's the guy I forgot. Is Bestia. So remember, I was like, oh, I can't forget his name. I'm sorry, guys. I do apologize for screwing up the tag team name. It's not La Revolution. It's La Rebellion. The Revolution was an old tag team back in WWE a long time ago. Sorry for that, guys. But yeah, they're the current NWA World Tag Team Champions. Mecha Wolf and Beast, yeah, they're beasts. They're also the Crash Lucha Libre champions. I would love to see them come in and either face, FTR and or the Lucha Brothers or anybody in general from
FTR
AEW.
has like staked their claim. Like I told you on the last show, they have opened up their gauntlet. So they are willing to walk through the forbidden door if it must be done.
Oh, without a
To
doubt.
prove if they really are the top guys. I think they're going to walk through that forbidden door, and they'll venture into other places very soon, sooner rather than later. I think they wanted to find their footing in AEW, and surely enough, they have found their footing. I feel like the AAA Tag Team Championship reign, like win itself, was their way to like say, okay, we're getting ready to come through the forbidden door. I think that is just my take on it.
I hope so, unless it's just, another way for, just for AEW to pay respects to guys they believe should be holding belts,
Oh, that's just a testament to AEW, like giving guys who should deserve they to hold belts, and then also like letting them do their thing and then work outside of the promotion itself.
I
They
mean,
they
just
are
look at
really like
everybody that wrestled at an independent match on Sunday right after Full Gear
right
was
after Full Gear, yeah.
rostered to AEW. Sky Blue, man, so many, and that's just one. So I'm not. It's not like it's just her I'm focused on, but there's just so many that competed. I'm just like just blanking now because I was like, oh man, there's so. But just shout out to AEW. They let their
Yeah,
guys work, and
so letting the
and
guys
this
do
kind
their
of
thing,
goes
and
to
that's what
something
the sport is all about, man.
But
That's
this
what the
kind of goes
sport
to
is.
something I was trying to say. I didn't want to talk about, but I guess we're going to talk about it. Sorry, this will be our last tangent
No,
before we keep
my
going.
man,
It's
no,
Tony
no, no.
Khan.
This is Talking Elite, my man. You better not be
Tony
sorry for no
Khan.
tangent.
Tony Khan was caught talking. He cut off somebody from Busted Open Radio during a media scrum last week when they were talking, and he was talking about how he feels like he deserves more credit for financially paying wrestlers who were either contracted to AEW or scheduled to go to the event who weren't contracted to AEW, and how he paid them even outside of what they normally get paid for their booking fee, and how he believes he deserves more credit. Well, in response to that, then all I have to say is this: my personal opinion, Don Sean's opinion only. Not speaking for Bro St. Polo, not speaking for Talking Elite as a whole. Just speaking for me. If that's the case, then in retrospect, think about what Ring of Honor did to make you convinced to want to start AEW with these guys with the All In show, and how about as a owner, right? A guy who's requesting all this extra recognition and credit for what you've done. How about you pay that to the company right now? It's about to go belly up. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys did for us. Yeah, we saw it with, which we're gonna get into, Jay Lethal debuting and talks of other guys getting signed. But to me, it's way bigger than that. If you want all this extra recognition, give it out to other people who deserve the same. Stop making comments like we don't become WWE by only signing the best. Stop arguing with Eric Bischoff. In my opinion,
No,
you
don't
shouldn't
argue
be.
with the past, man.
Just don't become this guy, man. Don't become this
I
guy.
can
For
agree
the
with
last
that,
2
and
years, we've been your fan.
that's what literally gets, believe it or not, Don Sean, that is what starts the thing to run to the ground. You start talking about things outside of your zone. You start talking about your competition outside of your zone. Do what brought you to perform how you got to the dance the first time around.
And that's
If you
it.
look at every show as your first production, everything as the first Double or Nothing, it should be no issue. It should be emphatically no issue. But I feel like okay, Tony Khan doesn't get this. I don't think he gets much credit in this regard. He may say that he doesn't get credit in terms of like paying guys their booking fees and like making sure like if they don't make the show they still get paid, but he also doesn't get a lot of credit for what actually he's done. I don't think he gets a lot of credit for what he's done for the sport as a whole. Like outside of like the paying the talent, he just doesn't get credit for what he's done with AEW these last few years as a whole.
I definitely think he does, but at the same time, we as fans ourselves have to understand and remind ourselves how toxic this community is, right? And it's not even pro wrestling. I mean,
Right.
look at us. We're a combat sports talk show, right? I mean, we're in one of the most toxic communities there is, right? The fan base for pro
I
wrestling,
mean,
for mixed martial arts, for boxing is literally one of the most toxic fan bases there is.
y'all ran Cody away from Twitter. Congratulations, guys.
I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Just I mean,
I
wow.
mean,
Just talking about it and thinking about it. Just think about the last 3 years in social media and the community in general, outside of the, the speaking up movement and all of this. It became so toxic that like if you
oh
show
yeah,
support for one guy who may or may not, have even been accused or associated with somebody who's been accused, you're getting attacked, right? So like I think Tony Khan, and I say that because I think he does get some credit, but I think his credit gets lost in the fold of all the nonsense that gets talked by sole WWE fans, arguing with AEW fans, or like certain, clickbait media or clickbait outlets out here just trashing one company or the other. I mean, it's literally, oh, it's AEW or die, or it's WWE or die, and then you got guys like
as it,
us.
it
It's
shouldn't
like
be like that.
it's pro wrestling or die. You know what I mean? It's and
That's
I don't just mean
that's
guys. It's
really
me and you.
all.
I mean the whole world, guys, women, LBGT, everybody. You know what I mean? Everything, whoever you are, whatever you identify as, it's not AEW, it's not WWE, it's not New
It's
Japan
pro
or
wrestling.
that. It's pro wrestling
Pro
over
wrestling
everything.
has like you got to look at it like this. Pro wrestling has really won in the last few years. Excuse me. It takes away from sports entertainment. Like believe it or not, like the value that sports entertainment had over pro wrestling. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's more of those factors. Like yeah, we can't just look at this from a one sided perspective. Like pro wrestling, it has really like it's taken a setback with the Me Too with the speaking out, but in reality, like the sport, because of like yes, the fans are like such a gift and the curse. That's why like I agree with you when they say like it's a toxic community, but the fans like make it so much so that it really don't have to be a toxic community.
Well, it really, and again, to say that too,
It
and it's
doesn't
not to say
have to
it
be
like
Dasha.
I'm very appreciative. And guys, let me definitely clarify. I love being a part of this community. So when I say
Mhm.
that, I don't say it as in like a negative term. Yes, there are
Right.
definitely some negatives out there. I mean, we saw with the sad, the tragic loss of Hannah Kimura last year and stuff like that. It does get tragic. So if you are, one of those people who love to use your thumbs and say things without remorse, maybe look at yourself in the mirror and take a step back. But
Or
as
you
a
can always go to the
community,
Iron Sheik's Twitter.
that's it. Go get some.
I'll leave it at that. Go to the
Go
Iron
get
Sheik's
some.
Twitter and see what you can do.
Go get some. But otherwise, and I love being a part of the community. I love seeing everybody's opinions and just seeing how much they love the sport. So yeah, I mean, I'm good here with this tangent. I'm ready to keep moving on for sure if you are, my
Oh,
brother.
bro, let's keep going, my man. Like
All
this
right,
is
let's keep it
we're only
moving.
just
Everybody joining us, thank you guys so much. Let's make sure you guys hit that like, hit that love. If you are seeing us on Facebook, Twitter, please hit that share, that retweet. If you are watching us, joining us on YouTube, please hit that
hit that
subscribe,
subscribe.
hit that thumbs up. If you're joining us on Twitch, hit that follow. Thank you guys so much. Episode 2, we're keeping it moving. AEW full gear review. Bryan Danielson defeats Miro via pinfall. I'm gonna be completely honest. I gave this match as well a B plus, the same as I gave the Lucha Bros and FTR. I say that because to me this was much better than their match 3 years ago. But
I think.
I think the match it could have been a lot better. I
Oh
really am
yeah,
interested
for
in
sure.
what Miro's injury truly was because it seems like it definitely was bothering him a lot during that match. He was a
Hmm.
little bit slower to the step and to the jump that I'm used to seeing him. And I
Right.
think to both our dismay, we're very surprised that Miro did the job for
I'll
you.
say. I'll say I did not expect Bryan Danielson to win that match.
I didn't either.
I did not expect him to win in the fashion that he did win that match. Uh
That was I mean, and I'm not going to say it like this, but like, because it was a competitive match, that was a pretty
a very
dominant win, man.
I'm not gonna go as far as to say dominant, but the way like I don't know, just the way that DDT like looked off the ring into the
Oh, that was
guillotine.
terrible.
That oh man,
That was a
that was
botch.
little bit.
That was a super botch.
That okay.
Was
Off rip,
probably
that
on
was a
Botch
botch.
Club
Yeah.
the next morning.
You know, I'm like, all right, off rip. I saw the botch right there. I'm like, was it supposed to end by via a guillotine? Did they? I don't know how. Like,
was this supposed to end via botch?
Yo, you get my point though, right? You get my point. It's just like, all right.
B+ though. That's 100% why.
And I can agree with that. And you know what? I'm gonna give the match a B+2 off rip because of the guillotine and the surprise factor alone of Danielson even winning that match. Like knowing the result of what we got later in the night, I'm like, well, shoot, do you get ready to put the title on him this early, or like,
right? And that's what it sounded like in the media scrum, dude.
I'm like,
it literally sounded like he's coming for that belt.
But Don Sean, here's where I'm at because I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I mean, shoot, like I know everybody has seen Full Gear to this point, but like I don't want a short Hangman title run. You get what I'm saying? I feel like I feel like this match is going to happen like so close to the last Dynamite of the year, or probably it could happen the first Dynamite of the year, and when they go to TBS. However, for Hangman to only have a reign under 60 days, that will really get to me. That off rip will get to me if that does.
So I will say this: I would love for the Hangman Danielson match to go to a draw.
But that's the thing. Okay, all right.
I would love for it to go to a draw because then you can allow Hangman to defend the belt a couple times.
Yes.
Then visit that match.
Here's my thing with that. I'm questioning the Hangman's cardio because
that's really what he said too. He said, "I got to work on my card."
Yeah, yo. Did you see the newsletter that he printed out yesterday?
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
I shared it to our Instagram. If you guys don't follow us, at the Talking Elite Show.
It was so nice plug, nice cheap plug. I like that. Anyway, but it was so hilarious. But it gives like a perspective of saying, okay, maybe that match with Danielson will have to become a draw. Maybe that match will have to does it go into a 60-minute draw to be the first world title match to have a 60-minute draw? I won't be mad at that.
So now even thinking about it, because I won't lie, I did forget the title matches. They do get the 60 minutes.
Yeah, they get the 60 minute time.
I would say this, right? So if that's the case, I would predict it does happen at Dynamite at the Prudential on January 5th. I do believe it happens there, and I would love to see it be then a 60-minute Iron Man match. If you're gonna go 60 minutes, if you're gonna have it go the full 60, and that's just me saying, if it goes to the draw, right? If you're gonna have it go the full 60, make it an Iron Man match.
But then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Don Sean. You get but if you have the Iron Man match, you're opening up the possibility for somebody to come out and say, "Oh, sudden death, next fall wins."
Right, but that's if you're tied at the end.
I mean, right. That's if you're tied at 1-0. You gonna let Hangman win 2-1 over Bryan Danielson?
No, which is why I'm saying you can sell this match, in my opinion. You can sell the Iron Man match as the whole trilogy, as opposed to this match just can't be a one and done. In my opinion, right. This is just my opinion. I can't see them going this 2-year buildup for Hangman. Chris
That's
Jericho,
what I'm saying, and they
the Tag Team Championship, Dark Order storyline, the Alcoholic storyline. Unfortunately, he took time off recently, but it wasn't unfortunate because it was a positive for him and his wife, for him to be there for the birth of his child. Yes, he's a little out of shape. He was not Full Gear ready like he has been in years past. If you guys watch Being the Elite, you know what I'm talking about when Hangman is Full Gear ready with the Full Gear Challenge. But this is, to me, is something serious, man. Bryan Danielson is he's a tough cookie right now, man. And
he's a very tough cookie.
Some of the best he's done since he's been in Ring of Honor.
I feel like my man is destined to win the world title.
I just hope it's not before 60 days for Hangman.
I just hope it's not now.
Because
let it happen now.
Him and Kenny went to a draw.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay,
You can't have him just. You just can't have him beat. You just can't have him beat Hangman
You
clean.
can't have him beat the Hangman like off rip
Not
that
clean.
If you
Not clean.
his first match was against a world champion and it went to a 30-minute draw.
And
You
that
gotta
strength of
think
schedule since has
this
been
man,
insane.
this man just beat Kenny Omega in under 30 minutes on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, maybe it leaves a way for him to say, okay, I can beat Danielson the same way I beat Omega. But Bryan Danielson's been on a roll since he's been in
wrestlers,
AEW.
man. Two completely
Nine,
different wrestlers. A complete.
nine straight victories, none of them no fluke in any way. My man, Don
And
Sean.
they're all monsters. He's not wrestling the
Bryan
weakling. He even
Danielson
said it. I'm not here
has
to build
won,
a young talent.
with the exception, I think, of the Nick Jackson match. No, because he beat Nick Jackson. But Bryan Danielson has beaten everybody, at least I can think of, by submission.
Yes.
And it's all been a different submission at
No.
the very least.
He didn't tap Suzuki. He pinned Suzuki.
No, okay. That was the sole person he has defeated.
I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't have believed Suzuki tapping O'Brien. I don't care what submission he had.
Okay, maybe him passing out.
Completely broken.
Maybe Suzuki passing out. I could believe, like Eddie
I wouldn't
Kingston.
believe that either.
Not like Eddie Kingston.
No, I wouldn't believe that.
Seriously, not Minoru Suzuki passing out.
No, I'm not.
I don't know.
Anybody in AEW passing out Suzuki or tapping out Suzuki.
I don't think he taps out. There's a possibility if Danielson is that violent enough.
I don't think I would be sold. Maybe unless it's like somebody the size of Brody King or Alex Hammerstone, Brian Cage. Maybe somebody with like a larger frame. I otherwise cannot believe it would not be something that I can see that somebody taps Minoru Suzuki unless they are a submission specialist. I just don't see it. He wrestles such a tough style that
is Bryan Danielson not the submission specialist that would be suited to pass out Minoru Suzuki?
Yeah, but not in the sense like a Zack Sabre Jr. Currently, and this is the thing, right? Now you're thinking about Bryan's history. You're thinking about the entire history, man. I'm talking about currently right now. Bryan's putting on some banger, wall to wall. I would not have believed him tapping Suzuki right now, though. I would not. Suzuki's too legendary. He's too tough. I mean, it's been written in stone for a couple decades, man. This guy is tough as nails. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion.
Just my opinion. I mean, I can get jiggy with that, but also, I mean, this is just me as well. I feel like if that match really did happen the way it did, that's just me. The submission specialist and Bryan Danielson, you pass, but it has to be a longer match than what they had. It has to go longer than what, like, literally, that's like a overall criteria. It's going longer than the 10 to 15 minutes that they had that night.
Well, it's the same like with, Danielson and Bobby Fish when they had their match.
Right.
Their match was just kind of on the fly and sudden, but great.
I'm sorry, did he not make Bobby Fish tap out by a Tequila Sunrise?
I believe so.
Yeah, nah, man.
Or the LaBelle Lock.
Like I said, a complete arsenal. Dude, a complete arsenal of submissions. But submission specialists, this is like the first I've seen a submission specialist truly live up to the name. He has ended a match with a different submission almost every time.
And that's something he spoke about too, which is what I was going to get to as well. It was kind of like, it was funny because this week Bryan Danielson, Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour, speaking about wrestling and how it's combat theater and how his job is to make it seem like everything he's doing is, because it's the truth though too, it's painful, right? And like he said with MMA, and I love this Bryan Danielson. Again, to me, he's doing some of the best wrestling he's done since Ring of Honor
in a long time.
I say this knowing his history with WWE and that classic, but honestly, and this is probably going to get a lot of heat, that WrestleMania main event wouldn't come about without CM Punk lobbying the way he did that year for somebody else.
I agree with that. Hey, I'm your brother. I'm going to agree with you on that one.
So
Daniel Bryan,
his history,
the miracle on Bourbon Street doesn't happen without the pipe bomb.
And that's 100% true. And look, man, he definitely had some wild matches out the wazoo for sure on
Uh,
WWE television as Daniel Bryan, no doubt.
Not as wild as
But
his indie route. No,
Bryan Danielson returning in AEW has been something crazy, and he said it in the media scrum.
special.
Just like in MMA, fights end in submissions, fights end in knockouts. My goal here is not to have a finishing move. It's not to be repetitive for everybody to know what's coming. It is to just know that I can end the match many different ways and
I
me give it.
love it.
And I love
I
that. Love that
love
energy.
it.
I'm not here to help
I yo,
the young talent. I'm here to pro wrestle, win
I
belts, and
love
get
the
after it.
yo.
It's all about it.
Oh God, yo, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yo,
Anti-hero. It felt
I really
anti-hero. It
do
didn't feel like
believe
that nonsense Earth lover he normally does. It felt great.
in my heart, Don Sean, he is going to win the title sooner rather than like it just can't be now. Congratulations for winning the Eliminator tournament. I just don't see it happening within the because, like I said, their match is gonna happen within the next few weeks. Just don't see it happening within the next few weeks.
Well, he's
Like,
wrestling. I can't remember first off right now, but Danielson's wrestling somebody on Wednesday.
oh my gosh.
I can't remember
Oh,
tomorrow night.
he's wrestling Evil Uno.
Yes,
He is
Evil
wrestling
Uno.
Evil Uno tomorrow.
He's wrestling
So the
Evil
thing
Uno,
is,
who
all
is
right,
a
this is
friend of
building up.
Hangman Page.
Right, exactly. This is like just used to build up the match, and I mean, don't sleep on Evil Uno either. Like Evil Uno, he's
No,
really
Evil
good.
Uno's a
So
beast. Evil Uno's
I
a
really do
beast.
feel like that'll be a really good match, and it's a really good test for Brian en route to his match against the Hangman. But it's also going to do some help for the Hangman because you got members of the Dark Order being able to scout for you, even though
The
that Evil Uno is
Stu
probably going to be a
Grayson,
scapegoat
man.
into this.
Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, shout out to them. Another great tag team in the AEW tag team division who's not getting
Silver and Reynolds, don't
but,
leave. Hey,
the
don't
Super
leave out my
Smash
boy
Bros
Silver
were for
and Reynolds
real.
out.
If you guys watched them on the Indies, they were player 1 and player 2 for such a long time as the Super Smash Bros. I'm talking about Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. So, it's dope. It's dope.
I
to
got
see
my
them
guys, the
in
recruitment
AEW.
specialists, man. Watch
Silver
out
and
for Silver and
Reynolds,
Reynolds.
they're dope too. I mean, Alan Angels is starting to break out his shell a bit, show his talent
Like
a lot
every
more.
member, that's what I'm like. Every member of the Dark Order, even especially after Hangman's win on Saturday, like this should be like a jolt to them, like a jolt of lightning. You feel me? Like
Especially
I
if
feel
they're
like
keeping this storyline about if we really figure out who's gonna come take over type stuff or whatever
but
it's gonna be.
that's what I'm saying. Like the whole Wyndham situation, I feel like we're gonna get to Wyndham. Like we'll talk about Wyndham, and it's like an on and off kind of topic. That's I'm like, do you really bring him in to be the leader of the Dark Order? You don't have to bring him in to be the leader of the Dark Order. Like they're in such a
He's got to do
right.
his own thing.
And the Dark Order is in such a stratosphere of their own right now. That's why I'm like, the Dark Order is like one of the more like together factions that you see in AEW. They're always together. They're not like the pinnacle of the inner circle where they'll separate and do it. The Dark Order is always together, and that's what separates them from the crowd. Right. That is what separates the Dark Order from the rest of the pack.
Absolutely.
I think
and there's another tag team match coming up too. It's Colt Cabana and I believe it was Stu Grayson and Colt Cabana versus the Acclaimed actually on AEW Dark tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dark Order definitely well represented. But yeah, so let's keep moving forward. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express defeats the Super Click in a definite grade A match for sure.
Boy, talk about from pillar to post. The Target Center was used as a damn weapon for these guys, man.
Dude, the spots in this match.
Hey,
wow, Jungle Boy. The story with Jungle Boy. Oh man, that he doesn't want to.
Nice call.
Ending the match. Woo!
Nice Jungle call on both of us. Nice call. Right. The boy became a man on this. And I told you, like, before last week, I said, yo, this pay-per-view, if it was smart, it will focus on the 4 pillars of AEW. And sure enough did it. It 100%. Did it in the biggest way possible on Saturday night. And I feel like Jungle Boy really did. I did say he was going to pin Adam Cole. They don't want to give that nod just yet. I'm okay with that. They let Mac Jackson take the L. But you know what? Jungle Boy getting the pin.
Bro, Luchasaurus doing the shooting star press off the ramp.
Like, yo, this goes back, and it goes back to the Lucha Brothers scenario. World championship caliber guys in the Jurassic Express.
For sure.
Both Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Luchasaurus is great too, but he is a little stiff sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I'm not. Let me tell you something. Even at 6'8", 6'9", Don Sean.
Yo, he's huge.
All that stiffness. Understand you moving like that and you perform shooting star presses like that and kicks like that, sir. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, fuck the stiff. I mean, screw the stiffness, my man.
They definitely got AEW Tag Team Champions coming in the horizon.
Sooner rather than I feel like they're built to the titles.
Young Bucks is them working it out. That's them working through and building themselves.
Their march to the tag titles is like I feel like it's up there with Hangman's story, believe it or not. Like they've been knocked out literally every time, every tournament, every battle royal. The Jurassic Express is nowhere to be found deep in the late.
No, they're losing early, but every match is competitive.
And that's what I'm saying. Like every match, they're competitive. Every match, they're like getting so close, so close. So I feel like if not 2022, because who do you have unseating outside of Santana Ortiz? I just see Santana Ortiz being the guys to unseat the Lucha Brothers. The Jurassic Express is just like such a dark horse. I'm like, damn, I don't see them be like the AEW tag team division is so stacked in that regard. Like they don't need the tag titles, but like damn it, I would like to see them wear it.
Santana Ortiz unseat the Lucha Brothers because of their history together from Impact and their beginning history in AEW with each other. And then I think we could start talking about maybe FTR or somebody else picking up a second.
And you know what? And that's what I'm saying. Like once FTR gets the titles back, I feel like the Jurassic Express will win the titles again. Yeah. Really and truly. But until that, it might be a while because I don't see the Lucha Brothers losing those tag titles at least not for a minute.
Nah, not at all.
Not for a minute. I think they run it back. Revolution is next.
Will be next in February, right?
But I think they run it back to back all outs. I think they go that far.
That's tough, man. I would love to see it. Let's wait and see.
I think they'll be the first tag team
on the horizon, ready to get signed between Ring of Honor and the WWE releases and.
Right.
I'm excited. Again, exciting time for pro wrestling. I can't wait to see who else comes in and what else happens. It's going to be insane. Christian Cage as well. Great showing. Christian Cage.
40. Let me tell you something, my man. 47 years old, and he's rocking out like this is the best wrestling I've seen from Christian Cage in a long time.
Over a decade.
Long time, man. And I'm like that. This match Saturday night, it proved it. Like even though being such a role player in the match, he set up Jungle Boy perfectly. He is setting up
based off of AEW, his work with enhancing some of the talent and Impact and everything. Honestly, I give if we're gonna compare Edge's 2021 and Christian's 2021, Christian has the better 2021.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's
and
also.
He did multiple events. He did WWE.
You gotta, but that's what I'm gonna say. You gotta lean after the AEW arrival. You gotta lean that towards more him having the better 21 because of the Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
he stepped through the Forbidden Door. He went to, and albeit he only went to Impact, and he became world champion in Impact. It's like he had that. I mean, let's be real. WWE didn't want to use him, so. Kudos to AEW and Impact taking advantage of that. That is why I give Christian the better 21. And then also, I think he's also had more matches than Edge this year as well, too.
Yeah. He's had more matches than Edge. He's had almost the same amount of ring time. I would say probably this pay-per-view and then maybe last week or so, his last few in-ring thing puts him over it. But
then he had the match against Alexander Bound for Glory.
That was a great match.
Josh Alexander.
And Alexander's a beast. A beast.
We don't talk about Mr. Alexander more. We don't talk about Josh Alexander enough. That's what I'm saying. The perfect person to drop the title to overall. But yeah, Christian Cage is.
I feel bad though, man. I feel bad for Josh Alexander. Dude. You know, last year at Turning Point, lost his tag team titles with the North, or was it at
Where
Yeah, it
with
was
the
last
North?
year at Turning Point as the
Yeah,
North. You know, lost the tag team titles to the Good Brothers. A whole year later, the Good Brothers still got it. My man had the X Division title, relinquished it, won his Impact title, dropped the same night.
I
Family in the
mean,
ring, but dude,
you
I
gotta
mean, we're
shout
gonna
outs
get
to
to
Moose
it
for
when we
calling
get
his
to.
shot.
Yeah, true, and we're
Shout
gonna
outs
get
to
to it
Moose for
too.
calling his shot.
Hey,
You
and I
gotta
hey,
knock Moose.
if you guys followed us on the Prelude series, you would have heard me on episode 1 of the Prelude talk about how Moose was gonna get the belt, and my
Hey,
boy he was like, nah. Yeah, he
I
did.
wouldn't. Hey, I wasn't mad at. Let me tell you something, man. I ain't mad at that result. I'm mad at like, okay, you let Josh Alexander win, but that's kind of cold hearted. You end a big pay per view like that. Then I know we done seen like the heist of the century and all that good jazz. But my goodness, just have a man take the title in front of his family. Like, what kind of message do you send?
Hey, and
Are there no happy
he's
endings?
on that JBL. I'm a wrestling god
Hey,
shit
yo,
too,
ain't no
bro.
happy endings in pro wrestling.
Nah, no.
Is my man
Thank the
Moose
massage parlor,
inevitable?
my guy.
Is my man Moose inevitable like Thanos of some sort? You know,
It's of some sort, man. I mean, he definitely has been putting on a strong showing the last few years.
dude.
So,
The last few years, Moose has been like the progress from Ring of Honor until now.
and complete 360. I mean, in Ring
Complete,
of Honor, I would never sat
complete,
here and said he can carry Impact the way I would say
dude.
and agree he can now.
My man is able. Like he went from role player to carrying the company
And he's doing
for
great. And
real.
those promos he's cutting, mentioning
So
everybody everywhere, amazing,
for
amazing.
him, for him to win that world title and then also possibly encounter a potential clash with Mr. Jonah, who is now formerly known as Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed, yes. And we're gonna get into that too, guys, when we do our little Battle in the Valley
Yeah,
recap because Josh Alexander performed on there as well. You know, these guys are everywhere and they're amazing. Let's keep it moving. Cody Rhodes and Pac defeat Malachi Black and Andrade
unlikeliest
El
of tag
Idolo.
teams. Give me a
What's up?
B for that match, man.
Oof, I gave it a B minus.
Oh, hey, difference of opinion, different perspective, my man. But listen, I'm gonna go with the fact that, okay, yes, the four main egos in this match was the reason why I gave this a B. But of course, like the action was there, but you knew it was just like, okay, I feel like all these guys are just gonna rip each other's head off at a certain point in time.
I felt like
At a certain point
I
in
felt
time,
like the self
respectively.
tags were too
Yeah,
frequent, and it's just
too
like
frequent. Okay,
that's what made me give it a B minus. I won't lie. It was just like,
okay,
okay, I get in the beginning. I get in the
yeah,
beginning. But like when the match gets really going and the going gets going, like why is
yeah,
that what we're still going through? You know what I mean? Like I want to
right.
see them going for the hot tag and stuff. I mean, you saw Pac walk to the corner when Cody and like that was so annoying because they had him in the hard cam the whole time, looking
Right.
inside the ring, just standing against the barricade, and then finally, you know, they had one of the cameramen go to him, and he's like pretending to still be knocked out. I'm like, dude, we just watched you
I
with the hard
mean,
cam for the last 10 minutes standing there.
I
What are you
mean,
doing? Get
all
up.
right. Let's okay. Here's my thing
They just
about
he
that
should have been
part.
out of the way of the hard cam. My point,
He should,
literally.
yes, he should have been out of the way of the hard cam. Him taking that black mask, though, I feel like he should have been on the floor at least for a few more minutes. He should have been selling that at least a few more minutes on the floor.
Bro.
Yo,
He shouldn't have gotten up anywhere near as soon as he did. You just took this guy's finishing
my
move and just
man.
said, nah, it's nothing.
I mean, kudos to Pat because that was probably like the only. I'm not gonna say that was the only logical, smart, like hard tag there was in that match. But damn it, that was like a good, like that's like good calling your shot right there on Pac. So kudos on that. But overall, I feel like the match itself, I'm not gonna say all over the place, but then again, that's what I'm saying. Like you have four different egos who are not tag team specialists. Yeah,
Not at all.
it could get a little bit all over the place. So that's why I
You,
gave it the B.
you know what it is too is like it was disappointing because we saw Pac and Andrade have two great, spectacular, just barn burning matches. We saw Cody and Malachi have three, you know, great matches. I see what they were trying to do by intertwining them all a bit, but
Right.
you
And
know,
then
I don't think Pac gets the credit he deserves either. You know, he carried a lot of that match. He put on a
oh
show
no,
as always. Former
yeah,
Dragon Gate champion, you know, which is why he backed out of that first Double or Nothing thing. They wanted him to do the job, and he wasn't going to do the job while carrying
no.
the heavyweight title because he felt like it was going to weaken his promotion, and I respect that. But man, Pac with the black arrow is a beast of a finishing move. I hope he's all right because I
One
would like
of,
to
if
applaud a
not the
little bit.
best finishing moves in pro wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when it comes off the top ropes. You know, I love that he did
The
it while
balance that he
putting on
finds.
figure four. I won't lie though, I would have loved to see Andrade kind of do the figure four, especially since he's with Charlotte and has that connection to Rick. That would have been real nice to kind of see. And
Who
then,
we're still waiting on, right, Don Sean? We're still waiting on Nate. We're still waiting on Nate.
yeah, all that heat though from the Dark Side of the Ring episode. I feel like it's dying down though a bit, you know. And it's not to say it like that because you know, and again, you know, I may get some heat for this if we ever do blow up 1,000 billion followers and people go back and watch the archives. But you know, I'll say this: it's like people have selective times, and people talk, and you
Selective
know,
memory.
and not even that. It's just like you know, and we vow to never talk about the you know personal and social topics. But man, it's like people get very selective with their Martyisms. You know what I mean? What are they a martyr for? Especially in pro wrestling, right? It's like the Dark Side of the Ring episode airs for 3 weeks. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, you know, and then
On the
now
same
look,
topic, yeah. They're
it's
pretty
quiet.
much the same topic. So
Now
it's
it's
just like
quiet. Ric Flair is having the longest lines at signings and stuff still. So it's like, you know, you guys are asking for something, and the guy's a staple of the industry. I would love to see him
that's
come
what I
out
said.
be in AEW with Andrade.
Toxic
Why not?
as toxic as the community may be, it's it's still
The
it's
community.
still there, man. Pro wrestling is still pro wrestling at the end of the day.
Pro
You're not
wrestling
gonna
over
take that
everything,
away from the
guys. That's what
fans.
we're here for. But yeah,
You're
man.
not
So
gonna take that away from the fans.
Cody Rhodes and Pac, they defeat
Anyway,
Malachi Black and Andrade. I definitely think this segues into a Malachi Black and Pac. You know, um,
I feel like and I hope I'm right about this. I feel like it segues into a Pac versus Cody Rhodes and then a Malachi Black versus Andrade feud.
I would
Hope
love
it
to see
does.
that because Malachi and you know Andrade obviously had the whole
Of
NXT
course, they
run.
have their history in NXT, but
So
it's just
we
like
know that they could put on some quality matches. Plus, they both developed into two completely different
world
superstars.
class
You know,
athletes. They
since
are.
um, so I would love to see it. You know, Malachi is a very strong striker. Andrade as well, a very strong striker. He brings a very lucha meets technical wrestler style. I can't wait to see that. I'm excited for it
That would
for
be
sure.
a barn burner. Give it, Tony Khan.
For sure. Okay.
To spoiled fans now.
CM Punk defeats Eddie Kingston via pinfall.
Good God Almighty, what a fight, bro!
I get that match at A. Get that match at A.
Good God, Jesus Christmas, what a fight! Like
Match delivered.
My
match
man.
delivered. I liked it a lot.
No, it's clobbering time. No, it's clobbering time. My man just walked down to the ring. Ain't no kissing. Just saying. Ain't no saying hello.
Eddie Kingston hit him with that Judas effect. He hit him with that Chris Jericho.
Hit him with that Eureka from the onset. That spinning backhand fist is nothing, especially when your hand is taped. Good Lord.
Padded up like
Good
that.
Lord have mercy. My man, Eddie Kingston, he wasn't joking. He wanted to hurt CM Punk and hurt him bad. But, dude, if
you saw in the text message I said to you, Eddie Kingston stole the show, in my opinion.
Don Sean, if this was not CM Punk's match where he is back, like, literally, like, he had to work. CM Punk had to work for this one on Sunday. Blood and all. Blood, sweat, and tears. My man had to work.
Hit the whole 5-knuckle shuffle spot.
Sir. Okay, here's my thing with that. I understand he like Punk came with the statement saying he loves fucking with people, but man, you can't. Come on now. Come on.
Well, you know why he did it is because he hit the Total World Slam.
Yes, he hit the shoulder presses and then the Total World Slam, and then he's doing all of this, and
but that's what I'm saying. He did the whole John Cena choreography. So to do that with the tilt-a-whirl slam,
The
and then
stick, it
go
was the
up
same stick
put
he
the
was
spot
tired
against the
of for
scuffle,
5 years.
and that's the point. And that, you know what it is that Eddie Kingston was saying, you're so tired of it, but you became it. You became that guy. And you know what? I loved it. I loved it. I loved it, dude. I loved it. I can't wait to see him fight again. Because it's coming. That this was not
Here's
a one
my
and done.
thing.
This is not
This
a one
better
and done.
not be, if there's many things, this better not be a one and done.
Eddie better,
as I told you,
and out whenever CM Punk comes out giving him the finger, he better just always be wherever this man is at.
as I told you, this should be a trilogy off rip. There is no reason why that match is only a one-time deal.
100%. It's got to be. He's got to just now be at every match CM Punk's having. He's got to be ringside.
And I told you this last week. I told you this last week, Don Sean. I said, like, this warrants a trilogy. This whole scenario warrants a trilogy. After now seeing the match on Saturday, we deserve a trilogy.
I will say this, and hear me now, guys. Hear me now and hear me good. Eddie Kingston needs to get, like he is the loose cannon Brian Pillman, and get so involved in this feud with CM Punk that we cannot turn our eyes away and look anywhere else. My opinion only.
Are you going to suggest that?
The Biz.
Are you going to suggest that Eddie Kingston brings a 9mm gun?
I mean, Arn Anderson basically carries one with his fingers.
You know what?
But no, I mean in the sense of like the craziness. I don't want to see him bring a 9mm anywhere.
No,
I want to see him bring that
you blow his sorry ass straight to hell. Yeah,
I want to see him do his meanest street. You know, the reason he's been friends with Homicide for so long, everything. I want the Mad
my man
King,
is from New York.
The Mad King to show up and just show
why
out.
He is the Mac. Listen,
that's it. He doesn't even need to win any of these matches. He doesn't even need to win any of these matches. Just like he said, as long as he comes and fucks this dude up each and every time, I'm cool with it.
Eddie Kingston is one of those guys that, like, yo, you don't need to put a strap on this man. He's gonna tell you a compelling story, whether he is the man or not. Mm-hmm. That is why this deserves a little bit more traction. This rival, and also, really and truly, it'll be CM Punk's first legitimate rivalry in AEW.
Yes, which would be nice.
Which would be really nice. Like, you want to start
into the storytelling aspect, see if he still has that.
Believe it or not, he did say he wanted to start turning the corner. What a hell of a way you go turn the corner.
Absolutely.
What a hell of a way to turn the corner than with Eddie Kingston. Like, outside of Jon Moxley, who else do you turn the corner against? Who else do you show, like, how
the next guy up, his best friend,
who is no slouch in his own right.
And to me, I think Moxley going to rehab is also why the Eddie Kingston CM Punk thing is even more involved, because CM Punk cut that promo. Eddie Kingston is his best friend. It sells the story even more to me. But yeah, sorry guys, we did skip over by accident. Britt Baker, DMD.
Hey, yeah, whoa, bro.
Ty Conti, DMD.
Yeah,
the D.
It was
we did skip over that. I do apologize.
It was another day in the office for the doctor, my man. Another day in the office.
What I tell you though, last week during episode 1, I told you Ty Conti, the nerves. They showed. It took a second. And then she worked out of them, and we got to a great match. I would say the first 5 minutes were a little shaky, but after that, I would give it a solid B. The match,
a solid B.
A solid B. I think because I saw where Ty hit the Ty KO, and they tried to shift the camera angle a little bit quickly to try and get you where you wouldn't see, but we saw that they needed to actually connect, so that's why she had to do the push down and stuff. There's just her nerves. This was a great grand stage pay-per-view match, main event.
Yes.
For her, this was her main event. It may not have been the main event of the show,
but you got to look at it like this.
This was the women's main event.
The first big match, really, in her pro wrestling career.
In general,
she's had a lot of. like she's had a lot of firsts and she's had a lot of big matches, but like overall, let's call it what this is. This was Ty Conti's like coming out party, really and truly on Saturday night. But
Well, for sure.
regardless
Well,
of the
Conti
first
was in the
5 minutes,
same boat as like a Chelsea Green and a Deonna Purrazzo wrestling in NXT, but not even getting televised.
right?
You know what I
You
mean?
know,
More so for the training aspect. And then she's on Dark all the time, getting these wins against these indie stars. But, and a lot of her Dynamite matches have been tag matches. So,
you
again,
know,
the grand stage, great showing for sure. Great challenge against Britt Baker. Britt Baker, again, as always, utilizing the help, right? So, great match.
and yeah, I feel like it's. Don't get me wrong, love Rebel and Jamie Hayter, but we're gonna have to come to a point where I feel like Britt is gonna lose that title in a steel cage for some god reason.
Yeah. And
I feel like
going to be
it's
the
gonna
Thunder
come
Rosa.
to that point. You took the words right out of my mouth, brother.
If Thunder Rosa
feel
doesn't
like
win the TBS title, Thunder Rosa is taking the AEW Women's Championship.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if Thunder Rosa does not win the TBS Women's Championship, she will win the world title. Now, how do you do it? You do it against Britt Baker. Now, you do the same thing with Hikaru Shida. You run her back back to back Double or Nothing. Does she hold the title to Double or Nothing? Well, does she lose the title at Double or Nothing? Or do you give it to her longest reigning, hands down, women's championship and women's champion, and then she loses it at All Out?
I think she needs to take the record. I think she needs to take the record solely because she was the first woman signed to the company. She was and has lobbied for the company from the very beginning.
Right.
But I'm noticing too, she's very injury prone, and it's getting to a point now where the matches are getting tougher, and I'm saying that in the sense that like the competition level for her has always been at the highest that she can get with AEW. But when you wrestle Thunder Rosa, you're wrestling somebody different. You're not wrestling an inexperienced, younger, or not even to say it that way. So I apologize. Not inexperienced, but a younger, greener talent, right? You're not wrestling that. You're wrestling somebody who's been, training other people and producing women talent for a long time. So Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker makes sense. Britt Baker should take the record over Hikaru Shida. I was surprised that they gave Shida such a long run with the title, especially since
you gotta be fair,
especially since Riho didn't get one that long, and she is Kenny Omega's best friend. You know what I mean?
In the pandemic, you gotta realize also in the pandemic era too, like you were building up a lot of your stars as well too. So in AEW, like they were just finding their groove and they're finding their formula in order to get these guys going. So it's not a bad thing that these guys like had the championship runs that they did. Moxley and Shida both had like the championship runs that they did.
I mean, and again, Moxley even cut the promo. I carried the ship on my back when there was nobody here. And
troubled waters, right?
I mean, it's a lot of great women's wrestling set to come. I do think they give Britt Baker though the longest reign, and then they have Thunder Rosa and next people up competing to try and work that out. Moving forward, the Inner Circle defeats the Men of the Year in American Top Team. I gave this match a C+.
A C+?
A C+.
What the hell, Don Sean?
It had great spots. Sammy Guevara jumping off the ladder into the table.
To Jeff Hardy.
Santana and Ortiz were the best things about that match. Their tag team wrestling were amazing. I did like seeing, because as a huge MMA fan, I love to see Andre Arlovsky, Junior Dos Santos getting in there. But I wish they took a little more time to commit to working on what their parts of the match were. You could very much so see the confusion. You could see them waiting to be cued with what's going to happen. I mean, even at the end, you hear Chris Jericho when he's going for the lion's salt, screaming, Junior, for him to make the spot and stuff. It's just, there was too much of hearing them communicate with one another. There was just too much all over the place with the MMA fighters and Dan Lambert that it was such a comedic relief match. I don't think anybody else could have made that match happen the way it happened if it wasn't the Inner Circle. I mean, even the Stadium Stampede, all their cinematic and gimmick matches they do end up turning out to be gold. So, good for them. the missing the spots, man, and hearing them, it really did it for me. And I was just like, C plus.
C
And
plus.
that's really because of, again, Sammy,
Tough critic,
Scorpio
man.
Sky, and Santana and Ortiz's work in the match. Honestly, Jake Hager looked like shit to me. No offense. And Chris Jericho's Chris Jericho. I love the Eddie homage. The dude needs to work on 1,000 frog splashes because that one he just barely.
Hey, let me tell you something. I haven't seen Chris Jericho do many frog splashes in my day, so I'll take that one. I'll take that
Man,
one.
I'll take it too because you saw as we posted on our Instagram again. If you're not following us at the Talking Elite Show, it was Eddie Guerrero's 16-year anniversary since tragically passing
Yeah.
away. So
And man,
I
I
loved it.
understand like his spirit was in the Target Center Saturday night, man.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
everybody that like showed respect, like everybody that was paying homage, and the fans just going like crazy with the Eddie chants. Like his spirit was definitely.
Penta, work on the three amigos, bro. They're
Yeah, man, we gotta work them hips, brother. You gotta work them, yo. I was looking at him, yo. I was like, what the hell? I was looking, yo. Dax was doing the Three Amigos a whole lot better than Penta. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I was like, bro, you
gotta work them hips,
man.
brother. You gotta work them hips, man.
Salsa in there. Do something.
But man, oh man, like we're rolling, guys. This is Talking Elite episode 2. We are like literally in the penthouse. We're talking full gear, and let's just get to it, Don Sean. I feel like
we're almost at the end of the full gear review, guys. If you guys are still joining us, make sure you guys are hitting that like, hitting that heart, hitting that share. If you're joining us on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. If you're joining us on Twitch for the first time, because this is our first time streaming on Twitch.
What's up, Twitch?
Follow. What up, Twitch people? Make sure you guys hit that follow. Hit the notification bell across all. If you're following us on Twitter, joining us on Twitter, hit the retweet. Make sure you guys hit that follow. This is Talking Elite with Don Sean and Bro St. Polo, and we present to you a different perspective. Moving forward, we're going to wrap up this AEW Full Gear review shortly. After the match, after the Inner Circle match, this was a great moment, in my opinion, because I love Ring of Honor. I love Impact. I love New Jersey, and I fucking love Lethal. Yeah. I love Jay Lethal, and the fact that Jay Lethal is all elite made me boom. That
20-year veteran, 20-year veteran of the ring. If you know him, you know his work from Ring of Honor. You know his work from Impact.
TNA.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the literally one of the pillars. If you remember any of his early characters, Black Machismo takes the cake, man.
For sure.
Black Machismo takes the cake. The Ric Flair promo from 2010.
You guys have seen the TNA clips of him and Ric Flair going woo 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 a million times. The
Woo Fest from 2010.
He announces that he is all elite, and he challenges Sammy Guevara for the TNT title on Dynamite in Virginia this Wednesday, and Sammy Guevara accepts.
All night.
I love this. I'm sorry that Jay is dropping a match for his first welcome match in AEW.
But you know what? This segue, that's all right. I will take that.
He needs to, and guess what? This is going to lead to a great career for him in AEW. I don't know what their plans are for him, but I'm very excited. If you guys follow us again on the Instagram at the Talking Elite Show, you guys will see Don Sean, myself. I posted many photos on the story on the page with Jay Lethal. He is somebody I've met many times. Not many people know. He is from our area. He's from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I'm from Union City, New Jersey. He actually used to train and work and operate a school over here in Union City, New Jersey, by me on Sip Street, the AWA Wrestling Academy. My friend Orlando, who is actually my neighbor for a long time, also used to be there. Shout out to you, Orlando, if you're watching this. I know you hit me up saying you're going to start paying attention to the podcast. Shout out to you. But yeah, man, a long history back in the day. Don't get mad at me, CM Punk. Jay Lethal and AJ Lee were a thing at this school. So it was cool to see. I used to go in as a high school wrestler and watch the training. And this was at a time where I was thinking about pursuing it. Unfortunately, the school was closed down. And, he went on traveling the world. So it's, again, exciting for me to see Jay Lethal in AEW. Can't wait to see what Tony Khan and them have planned for him, man. There's so many great matches, and I just can't wait for the first person in AEW to catch a lethal injection.
I look at it like this, Don Shaw. Like with this roster, like filling out the way it is, with the addition of Jay Lethal, they're bringing more people. Do you add another singles title to the men's division?
I think you need one now. I think you need one now in the sense of like you have your television title, which is the TNT title, right? You have your
Right.
AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and you have your tag team titles. Now, where do you bring this other belt? In my opinion, this belt needs to be a belt for Dark and Dark Elevation. Why do I say that? Because there is limited TV time still right now for AEW. They only have the 2 hours on Wednesday, the 1 hour on Fridays, and that is not a lot of time to try and work. And from what I'm seeing, they're defending the TNT title solely on Dynamites or pay-per-views, not much on Rampage. And, they're not really defending any belts on Rampage. Now, would it be nice for Rampage to get its own belt to be defended? Yes. We don't know what's going to happen.
I look at it like this, like with Dynamite moving to TBS, what, do you not defend the TNT Championship on TBS? Is that like a cardinal rule, like going into this?
They have to. They have to definitely. I definitely think the TNT title stays the TNT title for the men.
Right.
Because TBS and TNT obviously are parented by the same network. So
right.
I don't really see where that falls for me. A thing with this is, and many people may not like really realize this, is that Jay Lethal had one of the very best Ring of Honor television title runs outside of his world title, reigns. So what he can do with a belt, and like they say, it's not the belt that makes the wrestler; it's the wrestler that makes the belt, right?
It's the belt. Amen.
He's a great talent. So I would love to see a belt maybe for the Dark and Dark Elevation, because there's a lot of time on Dark and Dark Elevation.
There's a lot of talent.
And there's a lot of talent. And maybe it's a younger men's belt. Maybe it's something like the NWA national title. I would love
in a way. Absolutely.
Maybe
a belt that Ricky Starks has held.
Yes, maybe you don't want to name it the United States Championship, but that is a title that holds a lot of weight.
Even you acknowledge the FTW title with Taz as a blessing. I really feel like if there's any title that could be a workhorse and you don't like bring anything else in.
Yeah, but the thing with that is Taz wants that FTW belt to stay with him in his stable. You know what I mean? So
I mean, yeah, sure, that's cool and all. It can stay within Team Taz, but I feel like it should be up for grabs.
It's not cool because
okay, it's not cool in regards to like, okay, he wants to keep it within Team Taz. That's nice and all, but hey,
if you're
give anybody a shot
as a major title, it needs to go to anybody.
And I feel like it's gonna get to that point.
I would love to see a new belt. I would for the men.
I feel like if they don't make a new belt,
people to strive for.
You give the option, let Taz give it the blessing that it deserves, and let this be defended on a regular basis.
And again, this is just with, like you said, I agree. With the way the roster's filling out, they're going to need something. CM Punk is requesting for them to sign Brody Lee. And this is somebody I was...
Brody King, yeah.
Brody King. Sorry, rest in peace, Brody Lee. He was just on my mind, Dark Order. Sorry, guys. Yes, yeah. Brody King, though. Violence is forever, man. Violence unlimited. My man shows up in AEW. I promise you right now, we have another great tag team on the horizon with the Brothers of Darkness, with him and
Malachi Black.
Tommy and
Malachi
Black.
You add to the House of Black right there, because you already got an ally like Andrade El Idolo funding it.
And then I don't know if you guys saw, but Marty Scurll won the Unlimited Wrestling title in Puerto Rico this weekend. So it seems like Marty's making his way back, and as we all know, if Kenny and the Bucks have resurrected one guy from the dead,
I'm telling you right now,
they may or may not resurrect another. I do know Brody and him have some beef though, so it would be nice.
Let's just get to it, man. Like, speaking of like the Bucks and Kenny and everything in between, let's get to the main event, because yes, congratulations to the Hangman Adam Page for finally overcoming the hump. It's been a 2-year journey. But shoot, let's get to the end of the match. Let's
the Young Bucks, boy. I mean,
what the hell?
They heeded that warning. I mean,
like,
he said he was going to make it his sole mission to make their lives difficult if they interfered.
Like, they heeded the warning, but damn it, They could have just stayed in the back. Yeah, like, but
The
out of
storytelling,
out of
bro. That
exactly out of
storytelling
all
was
things,
so
this
great.
presents now such a crazy new direction for the elite as a whole. Like, because you now know, like, Kenny's gonna take some time off. If no one realizes it, the Wrestling Observer newsletter did comment that he is going through injuries, preferably with
Yes, one of his
with his
shoulders.
shoulders and his back, and like right now, he's gonna have to take some time off. So, do you write Kenny off in the scenario that okay, he stays on for a few more weeks, but he doesn't wrestle until like you get somebody like a I don't know until you have
See,
Adam Cole put the fix in and take him out, or how does this work? How does this work?
I think they need some more time with Kenny on TV. You know, even
Mm.
in the past, Kenny's never really tried to get out of the fold when he's been injured. You know, he stayed on TV. He's a great mic worker. He can cut a great promo, and he can definitely still do some stuff. It was reported, like you said, not just by Meltzer, but by many sites at this point in time, that
Well, hell, even Kenny himself reported it.
yes, one of his
No,
shoulders for at least the last 3 months has been experiencing many problems. He's been wrestling with it, but his range of motion has become very limited, which you wouldn't have been able to notice in
and
that match. If you watch the match,
right.
uh, but wow, you know, for that guy to even come out and say that, because these matches he's been wrestling were not
But
easy, man.
look, Sean, look at the year the man has had in general since winning the title. I don't want to exaggerate it, but have you seen a run like this in decades?
I feel like the only thing that could have made this year better for him was had he also wrestled Nick Gage. You know, if Chris Jericho and Moxley did it, I would have loved to have seen Kenny do it once, you know.
Listen,
But
the
this wasn't
most
the year of
extreme
the
I
Kenny
saw
being.
Kenny,
This wasn't the
bro.
year of Kenny being on the Moxley shit. That was last year. You know what I
This
mean?
with the injuries that Kenny has, I think a match with Nick Gage can be prolonged. It
It
could
can
definitely
never
be
happen.
prolonged.
It should never happen.
No, it should never happen. But yes, if Kenny is to attain that, it shouldn't happen right now. At least it should not happen right now. At no point should he be fighting Nick Gage in a death match of any sort.
No way.
No, at no point he should be fighting Nick Gage in any sort of death match combat.
No.
Outside of
You know,
all,
Nick Gage is on the MDK all day, baby. And speaking of Nick Gage, I mean, shout out to GCW, and this will probably be the only time we really
on
get to talk
a
about it.
roll.
But the Nick Gage Invitational, the 6th edition of it, was insane. And I think his name is John Michael Murdoch. Came back and ended up surprising Alex Clone after he won it. But Jesus,
Yep.
that thing
Well,
was
congrats to Alex Cologne for winning the
Ultra
Nick
Violent
Gage Invitational
Championship.
6.
Jesus.
Yes, and
Oh my
boy, oh boy,
God. Dude
is
had a
it the
bandana and the towel covering his eyes by the end
and
of
blood, in blood, man.
Man,
Like
dude,
literally, that is how vicious this is. Like the death match tournament.
it really is. It really has become the new XPW in the sense of like their deathmatch style. And then Evil
Right.
Deeds was insane. You know, Chelsea Green ended up getting the picture of Matt Cardona stapled to her head. Ended up being a funny match. She ends up getting the W. But yeah, man, that was insane. But that was just because we spoke of Nick Gage that we kind of got there. But yeah, Hangman Adam Page's 2-year journey culminates with him topping his former stablemate and teammate, tag team partner Kenny Omega. He returns
In
home
grand
to
fashion.
Virginia this Wednesday for National Hangman
Cowboy
Day.
shit day.
Cowboy shit day.
Now it's to say what it is,
Cowboy
Don
shit
Sean.
day.
It's the National Cowboy
Guys,
shit day tomorrow,
it's
man.
National Cowboy Shit Day tomorrow. AEW.
Yes, sir.
Hangman Adam Page returns home to Virginia with the title. I definitely expect an interaction between him and Bryan Danielson. I definitely expect an interaction between him and maybe CM Punk, because CM Punk was signaling that it is strap season after winning his title. After winning his match. So maybe we start seeing some people kind of getting in Adam Page's ears, trying to get on his radar
The
to get a match.
championship picture is about to get dicey.
I mean, let's talk about it. Let's not even waste any more time. Let's keep talking about it.
I
I know
mean,
bro
okay,
saying Polo
let's
here,
segue into
guys.
it, my man.
Let's talk about
Let's
bro.
segue into it. So I don't know if you guys heard over Tony Khan's media scrum that he had the idea of the first 4 AEW World Champions before Hangman won the title Saturday night. So this had me thinking, Don Sean. I was like, huh, if Tony Khan took this amount of time to predict the first champions in AEW's first 2 years of existence, why can't you and I see the next 3 to 5 and predict maybe the next 6 to 7 AEW champions? Perhaps.
Perhaps. I mean, look, if we're talking fantasy sports, fantasy
Fantasy
pro
booking,
wrestling,
perhaps.
fantasy AEW booking, I definitely, I'm down, man. I'm down to name a few if you want to go. Who we think could be the next champion? We obviously spoke about it a little bit earlier in the show. I will start off.
I'm gonna tell you, hey, what?
We already spoke about it.
You picked Bryan Danielson to be number 5, like to beat the Hangman?
No, but like I said, if we're going to talk about it, we already spoke about it earlier in the show. Bryan Danielson, we've already mentioned, makes sense for me to go ahead and mention right away rather than mentioning him again later. I don't know if maybe he beats the Hangman. The way it sounds like he will beat the Hangman. But in my opinion, MJF makes sense to beat the Hangman for the belt.
Perfect. The more we know, Don Sean, the more we know, bro. Listen, MJF off rip, I have like literally taken the title next. I don't like going down the list. You'll see that I have like certain people could like really be the president to take the title away from the previous guy.
Mhm.
But MJF makes the most sense to take the title away from Hangman. Like, think about the trajectory right now, because like I told you right now, his track to the title begins right now. After beating Darby,
A former TNT champion.
right? A former TNT champion, by the way. He beat Sammy Guevara earlier this year, who is a TNT champion by now.
Yes.
I'm sorry. He beat Cody, who was a TNT champion. I'm sorry. You done beat 3 former TNT champions. You done beat
Chris
Darby
Jericho
Allin
twice.
He beat Chris Jericho 3 times in a calendar year. Yes, 3 times.
Ooh. First ever AEW World Champion.
You don't count Blood and Guts, but yes, that kind of counts as 3 times. Anyway,
okay, but the first ever AEW champion.
I'm of this notion. Maxwell Jacob Friedman needs to be. Don't give him the TNT Championship. Bump all of that.
No.
He is warranted to become the guy.
Yes.
He has warranted to become the next man to beat Hangman Adam Page. It shouldn't be anybody else. If it's anybody else, I might riot. I might riot on behalf of MJF. Like there should be nobody else. The same man that he beat for that Dynamite Diamond ring is the same man he should be beating to become that World Heavyweight Champion.
Didn't he beat him twice for the Dynamite Diamond ring?
Twice? I don't know. I thought
I might be wrong, but
no. He didn't beat him twice. No, he just beat him for the ring, and then the following year he beat Orange Cassidy.
Okay. Yes.
I was like, twice? No. He just only beat him once, and that was the inaugural time for the Dynamite. But then, of course, Hangman eliminated MJF to get to his first world title match against Jericho at that year's All Out. So a lot of history that would happen, like, going into that match. But yeah, MJF off rip, the next person I give it to, and he beats the Hangman. Now, here's where it gets dicey because I got 4 people that could potentially take the title from MJF.
Name all 4. Let's hear them.
Off rip, just because of the entry alone of the match, CM Punk, and he's first on that list of the 4 I have. Off you heard what Punk said. It's strap season, right? I don't think it's strap season no time soon. So let's call it what it is. Punk will win the title. I think Punk has a legit chance of beating MJF for the title. You give him a few more matches with Eddie Kingston. You let him get his feet under. Because let's look at it like this: after 7 years, you're still getting your foot wet. You're still soaking yourself. Like you're still like finding your way to swim in the water.
Absolutely.
It's not gonna come overnight. No, in the title victories, the title matches, they're not gonna come overnight. And I think that's what we expect. Like I said, I expect Hangman to have a long run with the title. He gives it up probably by like All Out or probably again Full Gear this time next year. It's just a different scenario. Hell, I could even see him losing the title in a Dynamite special. Believe it or not. So when I see MJF, I think of CM Punk winning that title from MJF. However, I think about his fellow pillar Darby Allin winning his first title from MJF.
Thank you. That was literally where I was gonna say who I believe would beat him for the belt, because it would bring the story around full circle.
Yes, it
Darby,
would.
Darby is a monster. That first match he had with Cody was intense. The second match he had with Cody also intense. He has a great showing. He has a great strong suit. It makes sense for a pillar to beat a pillar. But then again, outside of Darby Allin, much to your what you're saying, I actually, instead of CM Punk, I think Bryan Danielson, because Bryan Danielson, he even made it clear, I'm not here to help build the young talent. I'm just here to wrestle. I'm here to wrestle and beat people up.
I don't have Bryan Danielson until after one of the potential four that could beat MJF. Well,
so
actually, I got Danielson
before because he only signed a 3-year contract that we know. So that's why
I feel like. And that's the thing. But if you're given like time placement, I feel like this could happen within like a good year to 2 year stance. Believe it or not. And I have Danielson after like the Punk and Darby scenario because of the fact that you don't know which way Danielson could go. He could either and it's like he's not really a heel and he's not really a face. But it's just like I feel like he'll have like more heelish tendencies.
He's an anti-hero right now, for sure.
Right. For right now, I feel like Punk will win the title as a face. He'll probably segue as a heel. It'll be the same thing, really and truly, within the next two who hold the title after MJF. He'll win it.
Another thing with the whole MJF thing, speaking on, I actually have Cody going full heel turn and challenging MJF for the belt.
Speaking of which, I do have Cody on the list, sir. And I have him Punk / Darby / Cody. Cody with a question mark, might I add.
Well, again, it has to be the heel turn, and it has to be kind of something I spoke to, I believe, either on the Prelude episode 5, where I was saying just, dark-haired Cody again, coming back, talking about how much he's done for the fans and bringing them AEW and just, how he's done so much and how they're booing him for everything. He hasn't gone Hollywood, and how even though he promised he wasn't going to challenge for the belt, it's MJF's fault. He couldn't. MJF's the champion. Guess what? I'm going to challenge him for the belt.
Who else do you go against that covenant to go against for the title? But the man who cost you the title in the first place.
That's it.
And then my last one, Wardlow.
Ward, no.
Ward, no.
No, I would not like to see that. I do not think Wardlow has the caliber to carry that title, man.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Now with that
you
roster,
look at it like this.
Now with that roster, they got no way.
Not with the roster now, but in the time period before MJF becomes the champ, you don't think Wardlow will be a legitimate threat, both promo skill wise and physicality wise? Off rip, he's a legitimate threat.
I think Wardlow beats MJF in the non-title match, but not the title match. You know what I mean? Just to kind of make up for mistreatment. I get what you're saying because of the mistreatment.
That's exactly.
And how it looks like it's been building up for a long time that Wardlow would beat him. Look, if that happens, I can understand that storytelling. I can understand it. It would be great storytelling, honestly. But truthfully, real truthfully, if I'm being completely honest with you, and this may shock everybody, I feel like I see Malachi Black or Andrade holding the belt long before Wardlow.
Okay, that's possible. I mean, like I said, fifth I got MJF, and then the sixth could go to either one of those guys. I still got Wardlow on my list. For some odd reason, I'm gonna stick with Wardlow on my list.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. I mean, look, the dude's huge. He's great. He looks great. He has the look.
Stud man.
When I haven't seen enough, his dark matches are always quick. You know what I mean? It's very Goldberg-esque.
I think we're gonna put the term powerbomb specialist next to Wardlow.
Oh, for sure. There's no such thing as Suplex City for him. It's Powerbomb City.
Powerbomb specialist. Yeah, we're gonna go to the town of power bombs for Mr. Wardlow. Now, the gentleman who I have taken the title from one of those potential four people who could hold it as the sixth person, Bryan Danielson or Miro. And I have 6 and 7 as vice versa. So either way, you can either do Danielson or Miro, or you can go Miro or Danielson. Either way, one of those two are going to take the title from each other.
So I'll be completely honest. I see Moxley getting a second title reign when he comes back home from rehab. And then I see Miro or Danielson either beating him to kind of get that belt. But again, I do kind of have Danielson. I don't know. Something tells me like they're okay with him beating MJF or Hangman for the belt too. So it's tough, but I do think Moxley gets a second title run. And then I don't think it's as long. The thing. I think it's a little quicker.
I got Moxley at number 9 as the 9th person to hold the title because I did 5th is MJF, 6th is either Punk, Darby, Wardlow, or Cody. 7th is either Danielson or Miro. 8th is either Miro or Danielson, vice versa, whoever you want to put it to.
Oh, so basically, either way, I got you. 7, 8 is Danielson, Miro. I got you.
Either way, it's one of those two that could possibly hold it within that range. And then 9th, I had Moxley at that point, or you got Punk at that point again. I have Punk going either the 9th person as he was in that 6th spot. Or you have Omega taking the title again for a second time. And I got a dark horse just like Wardlow.
No. Pac. What are we talking about here?
Pac. Okay. Yes. I knew I forgot somebody.
Here? How are we forgetting?
I knew I forgot somebody. Because you want to know something? Believe it or not.
Yo, if Pac ain't holding that belt, honestly, I don't think if he's one of the next 3, if he's not one of the next 3 people to hold the belt, I don't think he stays with AEW much longer.
Don Sean, forgive me for this. I had Orange Cassidy before Pac. Yep. Yeah.
I see Orange Cassidy holding the TNT title. I don't see them putting the title on him.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay.
Not before the first 10. Not before the first 10. Orange Cassidy is a younger talent, and even though he's super over, I think they know he needs some more. He needs some big match. He needs some big match work.
So to take out so Omega, Pac instead of Orange Cat. I like the Pac idea. The Pac in terms of the 9th person holding the title, I either go to either Omega, Moxley, Pac, or Punk.
I will say this. If at Wrestle Kingdom, if after the Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, if Kazuchika Okada is indeed the Triple Crown IWGP Heavyweight Championship, I guarantee you Bryan Danielson will have that belt and that Danielson-Okada match that Danielson is screaming for happens. You guys heard it here first.
Do you think that happens before the Zack Sabre Jr. match?
I think so, only because Danielson at the media scrum was talking about doing the G1 and how he mentioned it to Tony and how Tony has too many plans for Danielson with AEW, that the realistic odds of Danielson going to Japan and back really quickly for shows aren't going to happen, especially with quarantine time and everything they need.
And then also on top of the fact, like Danielson, you got to look at it like this. If he signed 3 years with AEW, 9 times out of 10, it's leaning towards these are like the last 3 years of Bryan Danielson's career.
I don't think so, though. I mean, I know he wants to definitely wrap it up soon, but
Right.
with his spark being reignited, if everything goes right the next 2 years,
I'll say
see him extending
I
because
could
there's
see.
still too many great matches out there. The Zack Sabre Jr., the Okada. I mean, you even
Right.
heard him. He was getting a hard on hearing about Ishii being at Dynamite this Wednesday.
Ishii, yes,
You know,
sir. He is
and
tomorrow.
and
He will be there tomorrow night.
that's just not even the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's the Ace, there's Jay White, there's so many great talents that's in the forbidden door for him to want to mess with. Honestly, if the Zack Sabre Jr. match happens, it's either for the open challenge for the TNT title, like they do, right? So at that point, then Bryan Danielson's the
And
TNT
what the hell? Yeah.
then I see Zack Sabre Jr. coming. I don't see Zack Sabre Jr. coming to wrestle anybody other than Bryan Danielson. There's nobody there that it would make sense to have him come wrestle. The
No.
technicality, the
Right.
submission specialist. I mean, you are literally staring in the mirror at that match.
And they haven't seen each other in a matter of over a decade.
It's like 15 some odd years, I think they're talking about.
Well over a decade since the last time those two met in a ring.
So,
but
I mean,
it definitely speaks that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so deep. This title picture has the potential of being so deep, and the 10th person, believe it or not, I had them take off rip. I only have a solo for my last two. Baby, give it. Let me tell you something. If there's anybody that could be the 10th man to hold that title, no disrespect to Shawn Spears and being a perfect 10, but damn it, Adam Cole is a really good shoo-in to be that man.
I'm telling you like this too, and he's beating somebody he knows and loves for that belt. He's not just beating anybody. He's beating somebody that the storyline makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like Omega or Punk, one of those two to win the title would be perfect.
I won't lie to you. Actually, Adam Cole taking the belt off of MJF, now that I'm thinking about it, makes a lot of sense.
Off of MJF?
Yeah. That would make a lot
Elaborate, Don Sean. Elaborate. Like, what? How much sense do we have?
I feel like with what MJF is talking about with how he could be going to WWE in the future, like I feel like they can build a great storyline with the guy who just left and had a great career there, for the guy who's talking about how they're gonna go there and like how they can just kind of sell this. Like, look, man, you can go there, but I'm here. You know what I mean? So you're gonna drop this belt and then you can walk your ass right on over there. I don't know. Speculation. I would love to see that match, though. I would love to see that match. I think that match is going to be amazing when it does finally happen. But I won't lie to you. I put it like this. When Adam Cole does hold the belt, I think Jungle Boy takes the belt from him.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah, boss man. And you capped on my list right there. Jungle Boy will be and like literally just
that
looking out
would be full turn.
And that's why I have it so far out, because Jungle Boy will be such a polished man by the time his reign comes. And
I think his reign comes late 2023, early 2024.
And that's why I'm saying, like, this is like a branch out of the next 3 to 5 years, and anything could happen within that time range. But Adam Cole winning the title, and the Jungle Boy literally taking the title after him is a version of long-term storytelling. That is
absolutely. I mean, well, let's look at it this way: they're just over 2 years in, right? And now they're at their fourth world champion. So
So you only have 4 world champions in 2 years. That's pretty damn good. Like, it's not a hot potato. Is you realize your champions are legitimate fighting champions. Like, off rip, I don't think anybody's gonna ever forget what Omega has done with his reign. Like, it cannot be overshadowed. It cannot be overlooked. This man, bearing injuries and all, went there for 346 days, albeit I don't think he had that many title defenses. I think 10 or 11. And he literally just put on banger after banger, my man. Like,
that's just for the AEW title, though. But he did defend the
Triple H. That's what I'm saying.
The Impact Heavyweight Championship.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's been like a consistent world champion, not just in AEW, but every.
I mean, the Moxley run was one that definitely tough to follow up on, right? The Chris Jericho run is the inaugural run. I won't lie to you; it wasn't very strong in my opinion. It was good.
Of course, I mean,
it wasn't very strong.
It
Moxley
wasn't
beating
strong.
him was great.
it was only 6 months, but I feel like AEW was just also finding its groove as well too.
Well, but besides that, Chris Jericho was scheduled to go on a world tour with Fozzy when he dropped the belt to Moxley, and then the pandemic happened. So,
Right.
If he would have known the pandemic was coming, I'm sure he wouldn't have dropped the belt so soon.
I don't know. I think that was always in wait for him to drop the belt at that time. Believe it or not.
Sure. Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but again, because long in advance, he thought he was going on a world tour. I think, though, like I said, had he had the knowledge, maybe he would have had a little bit longer of a run. Not much longer, but definitely a little bit longer. Then Moxley had a great run, matches with Brody Lee. Sorry.
Man, very much.
With Brody Lee and other great talent as well. Barn burners, brawls. The lights out matches he had with Joey Janela, Kenny Omega. I mean, the dude was putting
I Quit match against Eddie Kingston. It speaks to it.
So many great matches.
Right.
A tough title run to follow up on, and then Kenny sure did it. Kenny came in, did it right. So we're gonna see Hangman. Let's see what Hangman does with the belt. As a fan of Hangman,
it's exciting times right now. Literally, we are transitioning to the all.
This is his first major heavyweight title. So
transitioning into the elite era of professional wrestling, and Hangman is at the spearhead.
Super junior. He's no longer a junior heavyweight. So it's nice to see and get some recognition. But yeah, stepping off from the AEW stuff, I'm kind of ready to kind of blast through some other results we have from this
Have at it, Don Sean. Take it away, my man.
We have some Ring of Honor for All recap, guys. For those of you like myself who are members of the Honor Club, it was an Honor Club exclusive that just dropped this weekend. Taylor Russ defeated Tracy Williams in a Pure Rules match. If you guys aren't familiar with the Pure Rules match, the Pure Rules are pretty much you get 3 rope breaks from submission or pinfall, and then even if you grab the rope, the pinfall or submission still is allowed to go through. And then it's just a basic match, pretty much pure rules, pure wrestling rules, and it's all about technical pure wrestling, and I'm real excited. Josh Williams is the champion.
Josh Woods.
What?
Josh Woods.
Josh Woods. It's not Williams. Yes. It is Woods. It is Woods. Sorry, the technical beast, Josh Woods.
Woods the goods.
He's a monster.
Woods the goods, man.
We did email him, guys. We tried to get an interview with him. He said,
I feel like soon, man. Soon.
He said not right now, but soon, maybe one day it comes. And then following that matchup, Holiday defeated Quinn McKay, Trish Adora, and Vita Von Star. That was a pretty good match. It's interesting to see Quinn McKay wrestling, especially since we've grown so accustomed to her being an interviewer and just like an on-screen personality. So it's cool to kind of see her get in the ring and mix it up a little bit before Ring of Honor takes their questionable hiatus. If it comes back or not, we'll find out in April for the Supercard of Honor. And then following that up, the GCW Tag Team Championship was defended on a Ring of Honor show. The champions, Jay and Mark, the Briscoe brothers, who as many know are one of my favorite tag teams of all time, defeated Effie and AJ Gray. Effie, man, I will tell you, 2021, let me not even say it like that. 2020, no idea who the hell Effie was. 2021, I know who Effie is, and I know that wrestling is gay. So shout out to Effie because he, or whatever, identify as, I don't want to disrespect you. Monster, great. The match he had with Matt Cardona, being the first person ever to.
Right, I was just about to mention the Cardona matchup, man.
That was a great build. The beef with Chelsea Green and Ali Thatch and stuff. The whole stuff is wild.
If he lives, my man. If he lives, brother.
To see the Briscoes defend the GCW tag titles on Ring of Honor television, that was dope. I was really happy to see that. Shout out to Jay and Mark Briscoe. Jonathan Gresham defeated
Dallas.
Yes.
We'll be
GCW.
in Dallas for the next GCW show, December 4th.
I can't wait to see if they pop up on AEW because that will be insane. And if they defend the GCW tag team titles on AEW, that would be wild. Because Moxley,
a lot of influences.
I don't believe he relinquished
Moxley is still the GCW. No, Moxley is still the GCW World Champion as far as I know.
There's a lot happening, and shit can get crazy. So I'm excited for that. Following that match, Jonathan Gresham defeated Brody King. Gresham, a monster. You know, he's normally a Pure Rules
as
wrestler
always.
right now. But yeah, you know, the big Jack Little guy beat up the big bulky big guy. That was a great match. You know, the Foundation versus Violence Unlimited once again for one of the final Ring of Honor shows. So great match again. Shout out to you guys. I definitely give that match 4 stars if you guys watched it. It was good. Brody King moves so well for a big dude. It's really kind of something so surprising to see, honestly. Not many big guys move like him, but you could say the same about Brian Cage and PCO and some of these guys. So I guess it's starting to change where these big guys are really able to move a lot better. So shout out to them. And then Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, the OGK, the original Kingdom. For those of you who don't understand what OGK stands for, the original Kingdom.
Thank you for breaking that down, bro. I
You know what I
thank you
mean?
for
Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Adam Cole. I forget who the fourth person was, but they're the original Kingdom. And people forget Adam Cole was a Kingdom member. So that could open up the door for the guys to show up also on AEW. But Matt Taven, Mike
you're
Bennett,
open. Like it's a lot of possibilities for Mr. Cole going forward.
there really is. I mean, he's
See,
connected
I
to
didn't know
so
about
many
this
people.
OGK thing.
He's
Right,
yeah, and he's connected to so many people through the pro wrestling
right.
industry. But yeah, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett pick up their second Ring of Honor tag team championship reign, their first in many many years. They defeated Dragon Lee and Kenny King for the Ring of Honor tag team championship. Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, as the Kingdom, have held the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles as well. So if you guys are not familiar with the Kingdom's body of work, go back, Honor Club, if you're subscribed, and just search up some of their matches, man. Get familiar with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett as a tag team. If you guys follow Matt Taven on Instagram, you'll notice he's been posting Tavenville has returned. For those of you who are not familiar with Tavenville, that is what he calls his tour of the Indies. And, it's pretty dope. The dude's a great talent, whether he calls himself the Trend, whether he calls himself, the real world's champion. He's honestly a great talent, and I'm excited to see what
Hey
happens for
man,
him.
this is
So
that
shout out
Nick
to him
Aldis.
and Matt Taven for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, and then in the main event, Bandito defeated Flamita in the no disqualification match, and he kept his Ring of Honor World Title. So he walks into Final Battle
Final
still
battle.
as the Ring of Honor World's Champion. And then as my boy Bro Saint Polo definitely was letting me know, we already have 3 matches announced for Ring of Honor Final Battle. Let's let them know about them, Bro Saint Polo.
Indeed, man. So if I could just get some quick, then we will know that. Oh yeah, so definitely one of the 3 matches: Shane Taylor, Kenny King, announced for Final Battle, as well as ROH Tag Team Champions Matt Taven and Michael Bennett, just fresh off of winning their tag team titles, going against the GCW Tag Team Champions, the Briscoes, and what should be like definitely one of the most solid last matches for the Ring of Honor fans in Baltimore. So get ready for that one. And then ROH World Champion Bandito versus Jonathan Gresham.
Yes.
I think this is already a solid way to get ready to close this door, segueing into the next phase of our of Ring of Honor.
Definitely. And just with that being said, if you guys watch the media scrum as well, with Jay Lethal for the AEW, he did let it be known he will no longer be at the Ring of Honor Final Battle. And he no longer has intentions. If you guys have seen prior interviews, Jay Lethal made it very known that he had no interest in going to the Feds. That's what I'm going to call WWE right now, the Feds. He had no interest in going there. He was going to stay with Ring of Honor for the rest of his career, but with the uncertainty of what's coming with the company, he has decided to sign with All Elite Wrestling full time, commit to them full time. So there will be no more Ring of Honor Final Battle in his near future, as he is focused on what his AEW career will have. Stemming from Ring of Honor, a company that they love to work with. What were you gonna say, my brother?
No, I feel like this as we're like I feel like these guys are in stages of their career. They're gonna lean towards wanting pro wrestle just a little bit more than sports entertainment. So you can probably hear a lot of either AEW or New Japan come out.
Absolutely.
Like
And I
as
mean,
the Ring of
again,
Honor segue
and that's why we're
as I
getting
pulled
into
it.
it right now. The New Japan Pro Wrestling roster is strong as hell too, you know, and their matches just keep getting better and better and better. Whether it be New Japan
Even
USA,
the visitors
New
that they
Japan, New
have,
Japan, New Japan
even the
Strong.
visitors that they obtain, right? You know, so it's a different crop of guys that like it's a New Japan, but man, oh man, like you notice these guys from the Indies and you know that they're doing their thing, and you know that like man, there's wrestling for everybody. Believe it or not, there's wrestling for everybody. It's not just AEW. It's not packed. There's wrestling everywhere for anyone.
Absolutely. And then even then, speaking of Impact, before we get into this Battle in the Valley recap, I mean Mercedes Martinez, what a week for her. You know, kind of facing Madison Rain, getting a little bit beat up. Mickey James comes out to help her, and then boom, she plants Mickey James down and lets her know, hey, that knockout championship ain't safe with you. I want it. I'm excited for that. Mercedes Martinez has been a talent in the industry for a while. Let's see what she has. Can she carry a company? Can she put the belt on? Or is Hardcore Country Mickey James just gonna get another title defense already having defended against Madison Rain and work her way into another legendary title? It's pretty intense. You know, it's great to see Mickey James at her age still picking up titles and putting on great matches. She still has it. And it's nice to see her in another company where the talent's a little more familiar with her and her move sets, that it's not so, not so pushy, pretty much. That the matches feel a lot more fluid than they felt with her in recent years in WWE. But yeah, just
Right.
kind of kicking from there. We're going to get into the New Japan Battle and the Valley results. Guys, I'm kind of just going to work through this because I'm sure not many people are familiar with, you know, maybe some of the wrestlers in New Japan. If you have the New Japan app, the New Japan World, I definitely recommend it. You know, if you have the Fire Stick, they do allow it on their TV. But again, the time difference, it is becoming tough. I mean, I even wrote it in my notes. Some of these matches were happening at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. for me. So I was like a zombie watching them. But to start the card, you had the man himself, Josh Alexander, like we were talking about. He faced the young lion, Yuya Yamura. I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. The match was longer than a typical Young Lions match is with New Japan, and it really was kind of questionable if Josh Alexander was gonna take the loss. You know, they don't normally allow outsiders to come in and win, especially if you're not a New Japan guy. But Josh Alexander gets the win. Definitely a good match. A little longer than I thought it should have been. I thought Josh Alexander was a way more polished wrestler and had the ability to put him away probably 10 minutes sooner. But that's just me, my opinion. Great match. Um, Bateman and Mysterio defeated Brody King and Chris Dickinson. The match was kind of just getting started. He really kind of picking up some steam, and then Dickinson got hurt trying to do a frog splash. It looked like a quad or hip injury. I'm not really too sure. Let's hope it's not too serious. But yeah, after that, the match was kind of just kaputzed and done. And then following that match, Fred Roser, Rocky Romero, Alex Coughlin, Alex Zane, and David Finlay defeated Team Filthy, which consisted of Filthy Tom Lawler, Danny Limelight Jr., Kratos, Jarrell Nelson, and Royce Isaacs. Some of these names sound familiar to you guys. Some of these guys compete in MLW, NWA, and other places in the world. A really strong match, honestly. It looked like Team Filthy Tom looked like he was going to get it done, but he didn't. It ends up being what it is, and that was looking nice. Then we move on. Clark Connors and Carl Fredericks from the LA Dojo defeat Jeff Cobb and TJP of the United Empire. I like this match because TJP recently just turned on his LA Dojo members to join the United Empire, which is consisting of Jeff Cobb, Will Ospreay, and his boys. So, they get the LA Dojo gets their revenge. Nice storytelling on New Japan's part, and they kind of keep it pushing forward. Then Will Ospreay defeats Ren Narita. Will Ospreay, a beast. Match was really good. He continues his streak. If you guys are not familiar with Will Ospreay's 2021 championship
The
record,
real world champion.
the real IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
The real world champion.
He is 17-1 just in championship matches this year alone, Will Ospreay. So, dude's a beast, guys. If you guys are still sleeping on Will Ospreay, it is time to wake up. Time to wake up if you are
Give that
sleeping
man
on
the
Will
respect he
Ospreay.
deserves. Don't worry.
And then
Yeah,
Impact.
Don Sean, they'll be respecting him long after January 8th. I will
Oh,
believe that.
long after they'll know what's
Long
up.
after January 8th, they will put some respect on that man's name. Go ahead.
And then for Battle in the Valley, Impact also sends another offering, not just Josh Alexander. This is a complete match. Moose defends the Impact World Heavyweight Championship against Juice Robinson. This
Oh, he
match,
defended it.
yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
This match completely over delivered on my expectations. I was very low onto the match, kind of coming into it, just because Juice Robinson's been getting beat up a lot in Impact lately with the FinJuice stuff.
Preferably by Bullet Club, yes.
Yes, by Hikuleo, El Fantasmo, Chris Bay. Moose is the world heavyweight champion, so I didn't think Juice was going to put on the match that he did, but it was nice to see former IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship Juice Robinson return to form, because he was on point. But they brought the goods for sure, and there was no doubt in my mind when the result happened that Moose definitely earned a hard fought victory. Post match, Jonah Rock, formerly known as Bronson Reed, debuted. He got in Moose's face. Then he hit Juice with a senton, just really laying into him, beating him up. Then he laid out David Finlay when he came out to try and help Finn. Because they got their FinJuice thing going on. Rather, trying to help Juice. They got their FinJuice tag team. So he tried to make the save. Jonah beats him up, and then he lets everybody know he's the new top dog in New Japan. So shout out to Jonah for finding his new home in New Japan.
Found his way.
It was kind of funny because WWE just released his Bronson Reed figure like a week or two ago. So, and he made it known, like, not really getting the royalties for it. So, but yeah, I'm glad to see that he landed on his feet somewhere. So shout out to you, Jonah Rock, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then we get to a great match. Kazuchika Okada defeated Buddy Matthews, formerly known as Buddy Murphy on WWE television. As you guys know, a few weeks back, Buddy announced that he is coming to New Japan, and while he did take the loss, I will say for me, it felt like this was the first chapter in Buddy Murphy's story with New Japan. And honestly, his biggest mistake was when he tried to hit the Rainmaker on Okada. He was doing strong. He had hit a curb stomp. He paid homage to Bryan Danielson. He paid homage to Seth Rollins, which he's been doing a lot on the indies lately, doing a lot more buckle bombs and Seth Rollins movesets. But he was really bringing it to Okada. And, not many people will agree, but Big Match Buddy is for real. And there's a reason he calls himself there's a reason he calls himself the Secret No More. Because when you watch him, Russell, and if you guys are not familiar, that's what that SNM stands for on his Instagram handle. SNM Buddy stands for Secret No More Buddy, guys. He's not a secret. Every match he comes, he puts out.
He was the best kept secret in WWE.
He lets you know he's a beast, And so his mistake was when he tried to hit Okada with the Rainmaker, but Okada countered him with the spinning lariat. He had one last shot where he almost hit him with the Murphy's Law. Didn't really work out for him. Okada ends up pretty much hitting him with a landslide and then finished him off with the Rainmaker. And that was it. He offered him a handshake. Buddy Murphy went for the code of honor, shook his hand. And while the match definitely didn't hit the peaks of the mountains like I expected it to, like I said, it definitely felt like chapter one in Buddy Matthews' story. I'm excited to see what occurs for him in New Japan. I definitely think that there's a lot more between these two to come, and I can't wait to see it for sure. With that being said, Will Ospreay then came out with his illegitimate, as some people are calling it, world title. I call it.
How is that illegitimate, Don Sean?
I'll tell you guys, this is why I call it legitimate. Even though he got this one made and Shingo did win the vacant title, Will Ospreay has 2 victories over Shingo this year, where Shingo has no victories over Will Ospreay. So I'm just going based off of what New Japan's recognizing it as, and they call it the illegitimate title. They do recognize Shingo's title as the title. But he told Okada that since he won the G1, he's earned the right to challenge him for the real World Championship, in which Okada said, no, I'm not going to challenge you. He said, no, I'm not going to challenge you. You get to challenge me. Because as we all know, Okada, with the win of the G1, decided to bring back the 4th iteration of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which is synonymous with Okada at this point, right? But that Ospreay has earned the right to challenge Okada. So Ospreay called Okada's title the dead title, right? Because it's no longer the style. And since that Okada is wrestling Shingo in Wrestle Kingdom for the world title on January 4th, that Ospreay will defend his title in the Tokyo Dome on January 5th for the second night of Wrestle Kingdom. If you guys don't know, WrestleMania is stealing the Wrestle Kingdom theme with doing 2 nights. It's not an original thing for WWE. This has been something that's been going on in Japan.
Word through the grapevine, Don Sean, is they want to have a third night.
Who?
Is Wrestle Kingdom wants to do 3 nights.
And if they do, I'm okay with it. New Japan puts on a great show every single time. And they have the matches and they have the talent to definitely make that happen. Whether it be stacking a card with the young Lions and the young boys, or if it's the women, or if it's the men, they definitely get a lot going on. But yeah, so will Ospreay possibly Kazuchika Okada? If not, it is Shingo. They will wrestle January 5th, main event for Wrestle Kingdom. I will say this, and this may not get a lot of fans, but I personally am tired of all these titles running around. You know, I love how it's getting ready to wrap up. I can't wait for it to wrap up and for us to get
story it's been,
and for us to get back to business. But Will Ospreay, definitely the legitimate champion. If it wasn't for that injury, obviously he's not dropping the belt, right? He's not relinquishing the title. Shingo would never then win a vacant title, and we wouldn't be in this situation. But here we are. I can't wait to see, and I hope it's Okada versus Ospreay, because that would be an amazing match. A lot better than the match we've seen twice with Shingo and Ospreay, in which Ospreay has taken the victory twice. Following that match was the Never Openweight Championship match. Tomohiro Ishii, who will be on Dynamite tomorrow with his newly crowned Never Openweight Championship, he defeated Jay White. And this is my notes, guys. I'm going to literally read my notes for you word for word. I sit here at 1 a.m. watching this match, and it is dragging hard. Because it really was. And I love Jay White. And as many people who've watched the prelude, you guys will hear me say his name a lot. I love the Switchblade. But, man, it didn't really hit hard. It wasn't really helping either. That I saw that match many times that year. You know, Ishii and Jay have wrestled like 5, 6, 7 times this year already. Ishii has held the belt 7 or 8 times himself prior to this. So it kind of didn't even feel like the match I needed to be the last match on that event, you know. But he won the belt, so he's going to take his newly minted Never Openweight title on a plane with him to Virginia, and he's going to team with Orange Cassidy, and he's going to wrestle the Butcher and the Blade on Wednesday. And again, guys, what a time to be a pro wrestling fan, because wow.
Spoiled.
Tomohiro Ishii on AEW.
Tomohiro Ishii and AEW.
We could all thank Rocky Romero for that.
Rocky Romero and the open door. And the forbidden door.
With that, guys, we're kind of going to segue from the wrestling aspect and kind of get into the combat sports aspect of this. And we're all going to step into Don Sean's MMA corner as we get here.
Take it away, Don Sean.
Talk about some notable fight results from this week. We are I know we're running long, guys, so if you guys are still joining us, thank you guys so much. Keep hitting that like button. Keep hitting those hearts. Keep hitting those shares. If you're joining us on YouTube, those thumbs up, those subscribes, hit the notification bell. If you're joining us on Twitch, hit that follow. Join us on Twitter, hit that follow, hit that retweet. Thank you guys so much. This is Talking Elite, episode 2, and we're getting into Don Sean's MMA corner. We're going to start with actually, we're not going to start with the UFC. We're going to start with Bellator. And for me, for their event that they had on Friday, 2 notable fights, without a doubt. Aaron Pico defeating Justin Gonzalez by unanimous decision. Aaron Pico, a great young MMA talent. Not many of you guys are familiar with him. I've been familiar with Aaron Pico for nearly a decade. He was an amateur wrestler, one of the very best ever, and stopped when he was really in his wrestling, like not even really in his wrestling prime, but when he was one of the most feared amateur wrestlers. Not many guys really wanted to wrestle him. And the guys who did want to wrestle him knew the beef they were getting into when they got on the mat with him. They knew the task that was at hand. at such a young age, he transitioned to being an MMA fighter. I believe, off the top of my head, he only has 3 losses. A majority of his fights end in knockout. He is a tough striker, but he showed his best performance, in my opinion, this weekend. That work he's doing down in American Top Team with Thiago Alves, Dan Lambert, and all these guys is phenomenal, and he's looking great. I know he wants to run it back. I forget his name right now, but with the gentleman who actually recently beat him and challenged for the belt and lost. So that would be dope. And then in the main event, Chris Cyborg Justino defeated Sinead Kavanaugh by knockout, round one, in a minute and 31 seconds. In the post-fight interview, they asked who would they like to see next. She called for Kat Zingano, and then she was asked by Big John McCarthy about Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison, who recently, last month, won the PFL lightweight title for the second time. She is now a free agent. Scott Coker made it very, very known that he is going to begin a aggressive pursuit of Kayla Harrison. And when asked about it, Chris Cyborg let her know she is more than willing to accept this fight. I know that she needs to speak to that the organization needs to speak to Ali, who is her manager, to make it happen, but that she is here for this fight always. Kayla Harrison seems very interested in it. There was an interview that came out with Scott, kind of speaking about he's willing to sign her to a 3-fight contract if she wants to fight a couple contenders and then fight her, or even a one-off contract where she'll fight her just that one time. I'm excited. I like Kayla Harrison a lot. You know, there's some people who speak on if she does, performance enhancers. She has the USADA stuff. You know, the testing pool is crazy right now. She's physically fit. She's a larger woman. She's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, 2012 and 2016. If you guys are not familiar, make yourselves familiar. She's 12-0. She's up and coming. Yes, the talent she's faced isn't so much the greatest, but at 145, 155, is there really an established name outside of the Amanda Nunes and the Chris Cyborgs? No. Why is Chris Cyborg the best fight for Kayla Harrison? Because Amanda Nunes is Kayla Harrison's current training partner. It doesn't make sense to make them fight. Not right now. And Kayla Harrison was quoted stating when, like, Claressa Shields first joined the organization, why feed somebody to the very best right away when they were asking, oh, are you going to fight Claressa for her first fight? No, give them time. That's what Kayla Harrison's doing. I think going through Cyborg to get to the Nunes fight makes the most sense for her. Sign a 3-fight to 5-fight contract with Bellator, get through those fights, and then hopefully at that point in time, Amanda Nunes is still around in the UFC so we could see those training partners go at it. We all know the UFC loves when they can make friends and training partners go against each other. They live for that storyline. So that's where that will be. Following up that, there was some LFA fights. I'm not going to get into those today, unfortunately, but I will jump into the UFC fights. I'm not going to speak on the entire card, although there was some amazing performances. There was 12 fights and 10 finishes. Only 2 fights went to decision. So, I mean, what better of a card could you really ask for? It really takes a real hardcore fan, and I mean a real hardcore fan, much bigger than myself as well. I'm a hardcore fan, but there's more that are out there for many people to enjoy the long, technical chess matches that lead to these decisions. But something I really wanted to speak on to start this was the Andrea Lee and Cynthia Calvillo fight. Cynthia Calvillo took the fight on 3 weeks' notice. Andrea Lee's original opponent was set to be Jessica Ai, somebody who Cynthia Calvillo beat when she entered the featherweight division and left the flyweight division, not the featherweight, sorry, the flyweight division, and left the strawweight division behind. She beat Jessica Ai to enter the top 10. Cynthia Calvillo walked into this fight with her number 5 ranking still, recently coming off her loss to Jessica Andrade in a tough fight as well. She takes this fight on 3 weeks' notice, really confident coming into this fight week. If you guys watched interviews, her talking about how she was going to come out very active, jump on this fight, how it just took her long to get the gas going against Andrade. She didn't want to make that mistake. Man, Andrea Lee, number 12, Cynthia Calvillo, number 5. Cynthia Calvillo did not answer the bell for round 3, guys. She stayed in the corner on the stool round 2 and called the fight, said she wanted no more. Yes, guys, she no mast. She no mast. She stayed down. This is why I wanted to speak about this fight, guys. She took a crazy fight on in Jessica Andrade and walked into this fight very confident. And for the better part of 10 minutes, got her ass whooped. Her eye was almost closed. While I hear what Michael Bisping and a lot of these guys were saying in regards to there's no shame in it, there is no shame in it. But Dana White's made it very clear he looks for the fighting spirit and the fighting, the heart. For me, the reason I say this is because I agree with Cynthia Cavillo's decision to stay in the corner. And that may sound crazy. She had 5 more minutes to work. She could have got a submission. She could have got a knockout. It didn't seem likely. She couldn't take this girl down the first 10 minutes when she was fresh. She would have really needed she would have really needed to really just pull something out of her ass. And to me, the damage she was going to take moving forward wasn't worth it. She took so much damage in her last two fights. She's now on a 2-fight losing skid. We're going to see where she falls in the rankings. Again, she was number 5. She just lost to number 12. So we'll see. But Andrea Lee, wow, what a performance. What an improvement. The real question that lies with that performance is, has her cardio improved? As we've seen, she always starts off voluminous like that, throwing that many strikes, but she typically begins to fade. She showed that again in this fight. She was beginning to fade towards the end of that second round. Had Cynthia Cavillo answered the bell for the third round, we don't know what would have happened. But yeah, I just wanted to speak on that. Another fight that I thought was pretty notable was the featured preliminary. Joel Alvarez of Spain defeating number 15 Thiago Moises in the lightweight division by TKO round 1 at 3 minutes and 1 second. Guys, I feel like this is a notable fight because Thiago Moises went 4 very competitive and hard-fought rounds against Islam Makhachev, who, as we all, if you are following MMA in the lightweight division, even Khabib is giving Islam Makhachev his stamp of approval, saying he's the next lightweight king. Thiago Moises again put on a very tough 20 minutes against him. So for Joel Alvarez to get him out of there in 3 minutes and 1 second, that to me was very, very impressive. This Joel Alvarez dude is 19-2 now, and he's a beast. I'm excited to see what happens. I believe this was his 5th UFC fight. So now he cracks the top 15 rankings. Let's see where he goes from there. And with that being said, we get into the main event that occurred. Max Holloway defeated Yair Rodriguez by unanimous decision. But Jesus, guys, what a war. Yair Rodriguez, after a 2-year layoff, really brought the heat. He was throwing boulders at Max. He was landing the more powerful shots. I definitely gave him that first round. And that to me was the first round that Holloway has lost since the Volkanovski 1 fight. Holloway, again, something that's kind of bothering me about Max Holloway is how he's not calling for the title shot. And, Alexander Volkanovski spoke on it as well. But I didn't like the things Volk was saying, so I'm not going to 100% agree. Maybe about the chin weakening sometime sooner rather than later because of the way he likes to eat shots to give a couple. But, Alex, it's very obvious if you watch that second fight, Max won that fight against you, bro. And I hear what you're saying. You're 2-0 in the judge's eyes against him. That Max needs to call for you. You don't need to call for him. But the dude's being way more active than even you, the champion, is, So just get the fight out the way. Let's figure out who really is the very best at featherweight. Max, don't do this 155 journey yet. Get this fight out the way. Either win the belt or don't, or just move up and let's get this lightweight journey going and just forget about featherweight. I would love to see Max fight Volkanovski the third time. I think Max finishes Volk this time somehow, some way. But that's just my prediction. That's me believing in Max. I am a huge Max Blessed Holloway fan, so it is a little biased.
Blessed, my man.
Blessed is best, and that is a fact. But Alexander Volkanovski has improved as well. So we'll see. If Max Holloway wins, I do think they need a 4th fight. Then they can have the 5th fight. I don't care. I'm here for all 5 fights if they do the five fights instead. But I'm excited to see what happens with what comes next for either guy. Obviously, Max Holloway is going to need some time to recover. His face looked busted. Yair Rodriguez, his foot looked beat up. I will say for the featherweight division, the next fights that make sense to me, though, are Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski, and then Yair Rodriguez fighting Brian Ortega for sure, without a doubt. But yeah, so that's Don Sean's MMA corner for some of the notable fights that just occurred this week. But for those of you who are boxing fans, Terrence Bud Crawford will be fighting Sean Porter this weekend for the welterweight title. That will be a beast of a fight. As many people know, Terrence Bud Crawford is arguably pound for pound best of his division. You know, the argument is either him or Earl Spence Jr. You know, obviously, if Crawford beats Sean Porter, now they have a victory over a similar opponent, in that being Sean Porter. I will say I do agree that Sean Porter is indeed Bud Crawford's biggest test to date. So we'll see what occurs with that fight. But I will say, if Crawford beats Porter, the next fight that makes sense for him is indeed somehow get this fight going with Earl Spence Jr. without a doubt. But yeah, so that's my combat sports corner, everybody. I appreciate you guys for kind of joining us with that. Something that we were maybe possibly going to get into today, guys, but really just talking about it because there really has been no build up to it.
I feel like we're gonna close off tonight's show like this, Don Sean, and I think we need to talk about the lost art form known as Survivor Series.
The Survivor Series with a question mark?
And that's what it deserves to be. God dog it. It deserves to be Survivor Series with a question mark.
Survivor Series? That still exists? But
for 30 years, Sean, for 30 years, this event has been a Thanksgiving tradition. Like, I had to think about it earlier, and I'm like, man, they don't do it like I mean, of course, you had the traditional, like, 4-on-4 matches. Like, everybody was paired up against their rival. And then you had the one year where they did the round robin with the wild card in '95, which was pretty cool. But then I'm like, the series of the last few years has lost its touch, man. If that was the case, you should have just kept bragging rights.
Besides, I mean, you should have just or Clash of Champions. If this is really what Survivor Series is, it really is the
basically
Clash of Champions. Still.
Basically.
I mean, let's talk about the card thus far that's been announced after the Go Home Raw, which last night. I mean, we'll start off with the United States champion Damian Priest versus Intercontinental champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Where's the build for that? What is that? Shinsuke is going to win that match, right?
I get the SmackDown versus Raw deal doesn't have any build. But even like the first year when you brought it back, when like Raw was invading SmackDown and SmackDown was invading Raw, like there wasn't even any of that.
And that was something they did for like the 3 years in a row after bringing it back.
Right. So
now they don't even do that. The last time they did that was with Becky Lynch when she invaded and got her face broke.
And then after that, it was NXT who came in, which they did a tremendous job.
The NXT invasion was
a tremendous job.
And this is the thing, right? Is how do we go from including them in the last Survivor Series to them not even being involved
in the following one? So I'm like, all right.
This goes back to what I said in the first episode, man. WWE acts like we just forget that things happen.
No. Like, or they have like these things where we should forget it happens, but in reality, it doesn't. You know what? Like I said, 30 years, a lost tradition, a lost art form. I missed the traditional tag team matches that actually made sense and had continuity.
WWE, where is the build for this Survivor Series?
There's no build.
Outside.
No build, bro.
Outside of Becky and Charlotte. Outside of Becky.
Outside of that, but that. Yeah, I'm surprised there should be some fist flying to Sunday night between those two.
Is the build? All right. What the hell was the point of announcing Dominic and Rey Mysterio to be a part of this team just to replace?
To be replaced by Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory.
To be replaced. What is the point? But this is the card thus far. We're just gonna read off the card. We're not even gonna make predictions. I won't lie. I don't even care who wins half these matches. Just because there's been no storytelling for me to even get invested in. United States champion Damian Priest versus Intercontinental champion Shinsuke Nakamura.
Very disgusted, bro.
The Raw Tag Team champions RK Bro, which consists of Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, if you're not familiar for some reason, versus the SmackDown Tag Team champions, the Usos. The WWE champion Big E will wrestle the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. The Raw
Shockingly.
Women's Champion Becky Lynch will wrestle the SmackDown's Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. My bro St. Polo right here said, honestly, the biggest build for this card has been for Big E and Roman, as well as for Charlotte and Becky. The Charlotte Becky heat is real though, and it could be the return.
Okay, here's my
It could be
thing.
the return of kayfabe. It could be, but it seems.
Hopefully, it's the
more
return
real.
of Ronda Rousey.
It seems more real than not. Ronda definitely, with as much as Becky's been talking about her, is definitely coming back.
I feel like Ronda.
I don't want to see that girl. No offense.
What?
I think her matches suck. Her wrestling sucks. I hate that they push her as much as they push her. And that's just the honest truth. You know, I agree with that article that came out with Sasha Banks and her opinion. I know what she's done. I know the star she is. But she got her ass whooped in MMA twice and walked away like a coward, respectfully. Not even in a respectful manner did she walk away. She brought back the pity party.
Aficionado, I'm gonna give you that.
You know,
I'm gonna give you that.
When it came to the wrestling, you know, the Kurt Angle match with Triple H and Stephanie, she didn't look
That
very
was fun.
good.
That was a fun match, Don Sean.
It was fun, but it was fun because of Kurt. It was fun because of Kurt and Triple H. More often, you know, more so than not.
I guess.
But Ronda, the only reason it makes sense is because we never got that singles match between her and Becky, and it makes sense to bring her back because Becky's really been calling for it. She's been talking shit all over the media. Ronda, stay where you're at. Don't come back. We don't need you. I don't want to see her come back, especially with all the releases they just did, because I don't think she deserves to be in that place above some of the people that they released. And that's just over the last year. That's not just this last batch of releases, you know. There's former champions like Mickie James and other people who deserve that spotlight for what they've done for the division more. Unfortunately, they're not getting that, and that's what it is. Oh, shout out to my bro Daniel Cassiano. What's good, bro? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate the comment, my brother.
Shout out Daniel.
If you always showing love to the Talking Elite show, brother. Thank you for your support always. And then we got the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series elimination.
That
match.
even a 5, like.
Team
Didn't
Raw,
somebody
Bianca
just get
Belair,
kicked off the team?
Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Zelina, Queen Zelina rather, versus Team SmackDown.
I hate sounding like Cornette, man, but
Sasha,
where's
Shayna,
the sustenance?
Shotzi, Natalia, and they don't have their fifth member yet. I guess we'll find.
Where's the sustenance, Don Sean?
But this is the thing, right? We don't want to sound like Cornette, but let's talk about Cornette. This dude is so damn hard on AEW. Where's the ridicule for WWE right now?
Word. Word, bro.
Be objective. Be objective.
Yo,
you're in their
be
Hall
objective.
Of Fame.
Facts.
But their television is sucking.
How dare you be? Man. How dare you be a fan of pro wrestling, but say nothing about what this mess of goss is known as sports entertainment? Don't give us that
bullshit. And then the 5-on-5 men's match, Team Raw. You have Rollins.
Mind you, the only 2 5-on-5 matches are men's and women's matches. Yo. Survivor Series has lost its touch. It's lost its valor. It's lost the prestige it's had as one of the big 4 events. And the thing is that they, like a few years back, they wanted to take it out of the schedule completely and then shoot. You might as well. You should have. You might as well should have just done it, bro.
You know the problem for WWE, in my opinion, is that they're too month to month, week to week. And it seems like the only real time of the year they care for now is the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
Which sucks. It really does suck as a fan. If you're a real true fan of the WWE, and you can still continue to watch what they're putting out. If they're only showing out for only 3 to 4 months a year and then just cruise control the other 7, that's a problem. The other 7 to 8.
I watch their programming no matter what, just because of what it's been for me my entire life. As we've said, you know, we're definitely going to get more into the background stuff about ourselves next week again, guys, for those of you who didn't join us on the prelude episode. So we'll get to talk about what wrestling means to us and what it's meant to our lives for sure. But it's for the nostalgia factor, for what it is. I still watch it. I don't love it. I won't lie, but I watch. You know, because
Sean,
it's pro wrestling.
I'm just very
the Feds.
I'm just
that's
very sad, man.
Feds.
Like
the Feds. It's tough to be a fan of the Feds. It seems like they're trying to focus like old school almost rather, where they have their main 5 to 6 guys and they have their little small core group of 5 to 10 guys outside of that who work with these 5 or 6 guys. And these 5 or 6 guys will be their focus, and then the rest of these guys are their work.
But
I'm not a fan
it's
of that
oh
style,
my gosh,
and
I'm not a
they
huge
have
fan
so
of
much
any of
great
it.
talent. They just got to get
Any
better
of
with
it.
it.
I am lost on it all, Gunshot. I'm just like, man, you really like fumbled the ball with this Survivor Series this year.
Well, they
Like
fumbled it
how
better with their roster. There was a time in WWE,
right,
WWF where the mid card seemed like a main event, and
right.
they have the talent to make the mid card seem like a main event. But they're doing a very good job at making the mid card seem like low tier, and then the main event seem
Like
mid.
oh like literally like comedy relief.
The only, the
Comedy
only,
relief.
the only thing really holding them down is was the Roman Reigns heel turn. It really reinvested a lot of people in Roman Reigns, and honestly, he's holding it. He's holding it together for them. And then you got Becky, who is fire on the mic. Sometimes she needs a little bit of help. Um, but I'm
I'm,
excited for the Charlotte and Becky match only because I love how real their beef is. And
I mean,
as
yes,
someone
that's
who
the only
worked,
legitimate thing
I
like
worked
that
the
that
Evolution
saves
event.
their match, Sean.
I worked
That's
the
literally
Evolution
the
event, and they had some little heat back there at the Evolution event at the Nassau
I
Coliseum.
don't want to toot. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but that is really the only thing that gets me interested in their match. Like this is. Let's be real. This is almost close to the 40th time we're getting Charlotte versus Becky.
We talked about this. I don't want to see it no more either.
We did. We had this discussion. I'm like, we've seen this before. How, where, who, the how, the why? Why are we doing this again?
I mean, look, the way people are talking, there's so many people online talking about how they believe Charlotte will be in AEW within the next 2 years, which makes no sense because, from my understanding, she's contracted for a very long time.
With
But,
WWE, yeah,
but I feel like she's been successful enough where maybe she might buy out her own contract.
or have a breach of contract.
I doubt she'll breach it, but I think she'll buy it out for sure.
I'm of this notion. Stranger things have happened. I wouldn't be surprised if she does breach it, though. If it
It
gets to a
will.
point where she
I
does wind
mean,
up breaching
there
it.
there's been a lot of reports that she's been backstage at events, many AEW events, because of her relationship with Andrade.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if conversations have been happening with Tony,
Oh
um,
yeah.
or whoever they need to happen with, so that she doesn't breach a contract and speak to Tony. But I can say if Charlotte Flair shows up in AEW, the AEW women's division does have a big problem on their hand because
A
she
big
made it very
problem.
yeah, because she made it very clear, in her promo, and I don't think any of that was, as much of it might have been scripted. I don't think she felt fake about any of that. I do believe that she really believes she deserves to be at the top of the card. I do really believe that she really believes she is that fucking good. Now, do I believe that she's that good? No, no way. I do believe she's a great talent, but I do believe she's been kind of shoved down our throats. Um, but her versus the
That's all
DMD,
I'll say, my man.
listen, her
That's
versus the
all I'll
DMD
say.
is one of the best matches you can make in the industry in general for women. But at the same time, with that being said, the DMD versus Becky Lynch is also one of the best matches you can make for women. Versus Bianca
Either
Belair is
way,
one of the best matches you can make for women. Versus Sasha Banks is one of the best matches you can make for women. I mean, it's
either
it's
way,
unfortunate that WWE has a bulk of the talented women because they don't know what to do with them.
hell of a women's division. But again, the best women's division isn't even with who they have working it and who's at the front line working it. AEW has the best women's division because of the way their talent is being booked.
I disagree. I disagree.
Really?
I don't think they have the best women's division. No, I'm
I'm just
sorry.
saying because of the way their talent's
I'm
being
sorry.
booked.
The way that they're holding their women's division up, I
Right.
agree, is much better than WWE. The
Yes.
way that they have one singular women's champion, I believe, is much better than how WWE does it with the two women's champions, one being Raw, one
And
being
they
SmackDown.
have two. They have two women's world champions, and they
But
can't get
in
it right with
regards
either
to
one.
roster, in regards to roster, when we speak on the talent that there really is there, you know,
Oh yeah,
when we compare AEWs, they got Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander, Penelope Ford, the Bunny, former Knockouts champion, by the way.
right. Jade Cargill,
Jay Cardhill, who's a
Red
beast.
Velvet.
Red Velvet, who we already spoke about, I'm not so much a hot fan of. You got Ruby Soho now, who is from, who was on WWE. You have as well other, they do have some others, but they're not these giant, huge names. Again, you got to think back to All In. Who is that fatal four-way match, right? It was Tessa Blanchard, Chelsea Green, Britt Baker, and then I believe, wasn't it Madison Rayne?
I believe it was, yes.
So,
But
you
in the
think
time
about it.
period, you got to remember also in the time period that's come about, Tessa Blanchard has had her problems. So, like, if she didn't have her problems, where do you think she would have probably ended up? Would you
She
think she
definitely
would
would have
be
ended up in AEW, but unfortunately, that whole locker room bully and racial comments thing happened,
right?
and now she's with the Wow superheroes. And
Woman of wrestling, right?
I won't lie, that's still a great fit for her. She was on WoW season 1, and Tessa versus Wow the Beast right now really makes sense because the Beast is huge, man. I mean, just, and I'm not even talking about in like huge over. I mean, huge as in she's jacked, dude. She's jacked. That and that's that. I don't mean that disrespectfully. Look, man, I'm all about women in fitness too. Shout out to them. There's a lot of very fit. I mean, we've seen Kayla Rossi on AEW television. And
Right.
she's one of the biggest. In regards to women's fitness, much like Jade Cargill. Like they're very muscular and they're very toned and they empower
Yeah.
they empower their physique. To them, their physique makes them beautiful, and that's amazing for them. But like outside of these few people we constantly mention through AEW, right? Like they don't put on the same consistent type of power matches the way that a Sasha Banks, a way that unfortunately, as many I want to say the Becky Lynches, the Charlotte Flairs, and I don't even mean to say like the Baileys, like it's because they're the horsewoman. No, it's just because they've had the opportunity to work these television matches so much longer. They're strong for women around the WWE's women's division, and that doesn't even include the Bianca Belairs. I'm not a huge fan of Dana Brooke, but she has been a staple of their women's division. You have Natalia, who is an icon at this point for wrestling. Um, Rhea Ripley is a savage. Tony Storm, was the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion. And again, this is not including their NXT UK roster and their NXT roster. Now they have the young, they have Dakota Kai, they have Raquel, Io Shirai. They had Kairi Sane. They still have Asuka. They still have Asuka. Asuka to me is still the greatest
Oscar, who's like,
wrestler in the world.
nowhere to be found, but she's always lingering and she's always lying in the wait.
I'll say this: to me, Asuka is the best women's wrestler in the world.
Hey, Oscar did Oscar get drafted anywhere?
I believe she's a free agent.
Well, that settles who will be the last person on Team SmackDown Sunday night.
Hey, we'll see. We'll find
That
out. We'll find out
settles who
Friday
could
night.
potentially be the last person on Team SmackDown Sunday night.
Absolutely, we will find out Sunday night. But
I
guys,
mean, hopefully the card sells it better than it does justice because I'm not looking forward to this.
I mean, look, man, I'm personally hoping that they can really figure this way out and really just
I
really
agree
sell
with
this to
King
us
Woods, man.
way more
Like, and I know we're getting ready to close out, but I really think they should have some stakes. Like, I agree with that. The winner of the matches of the respective 5-on-5 matches should have some Royal Rumble stakes. The winning team should have 26 through 30. The losing team should have 1 to 5. I agree with that.
Well, I will say this, that with that being said, I think the sole survivor should get a title shot. If not, their pick as to where they enter in the Royal Rumble for sure.
Now,
for the Survivor Series, I think they need to return to their roots, and in the sense
Absolutely.
that the Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania still need to be the four main events that they focus on, because it is one of them each quarter of the year. It keeps
Yep.
the momentum going. It's not fair that it's really just from that February to April time frame nowadays that they're pushing their storylines, and
Yep.
it's just, you know, I love
It's not a
quality.
lie.
I love quality wrestling, and
That's it.
the
And
last
they
3 years they
it
failed
has
us.
not been quality, and it's sad because I love, like I told you earlier, I love Survivor Series. I love what the event, like the event has literally like put some careers on the market. This event has literally like elevated careers. Being the sole
Yeah.
survivor in the matches, or even just having a standout performances in the 5-on-5 matches.
I
Like
mean,
think of
look at Survivor Series 2002. That was the very first Elimination Chamber match.
right,
That
you
was
know,
when Brock and the Big Show beef happened, where Paul Heyman screwed over Brock. There's been many huge stories. I mean, Survivor Series was an event that they held at the Madison Square Garden for such a
it
long time.
launched the career of The Rock. 25 years to the day. This
Yep.
Survivor
Well,
Series.
that's why they
You
could.
know,
That's why they keep pushing that Rock 25 stuff as well.
right? And the Undertaker. 30 years to the day. Last year Survivor Series. It's like Sting, who came out in 2014. No one can expected that. Like this has been an event that's been synonymous with either rising stars or like future Hall of Famers. It's lost its touch. It needs some stakes. It needs something that spells that like gives the road to WrestleMania probably a little bit of a jump start earlier before the Rumble. You get what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? But I
Absolutely.
mean,
With that being said, there is one more classic WCW pay per view I would love to see WWE rehash, or if
World
not
War Three.
WWE, no, nothing to do with World War Three, or
Oh
if not
no.
WWE, I would love for AEW to do something similar, and that is the Spring Stampede. That was one of my favorite, favorite, favorite pay per views that they did, as well as the
Springs.
Fall Brawl. The Fall Brawl was dope
Oh
too.
yeah, that
Um,
showcased the war games. And speaking of the war, NXT is having their war games in 3 weeks, 3 weeks.
I thought it was this coming week.
No, thankfully it's not. It's December 5th. Thankfully it's not. It's
It's
like
just
who
they're not giving enough build like they used to. Back in the day, it used to be like 8 to 12 weeks of build. Nowadays, it's like three to four,
let me tell
maybe
you something.
two.
And there's nothing, and there's no shame. I don't want to compare AEW to it, but look what they did with CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. They built that match off of 8 days notice. Literally only 8 days notice.
Really quickly.
Very quickly. So I mean, you can do it with the short amount of time. Are you stars like? Are you gonna give them a script just to build it, or are you gonna let these guys just build it organically? Is my question.
I mean, hey, we saw what organic does. We see what organic does for AEW every week. But corporate
Clearly,
wrestling wrestlers,
organic doesn't do much for the feds.
listen, man. The Feds is all about sports entertainment, and
They'll
AEW is
do a
all about
sweep
pro
on you. They'll
wrestling.
do a sweep on you too.
We will say this. These will be some final words from each of us. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Talking Elite episode 2. Thank you to everybody who joined us on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. Just one last time, if you are following us on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe and the notification bell. We will indeed be rolling out some more content a lot more frequently. With the fact that now we have 7 videos, we're going to be doing some collages and some content and just doing some video things for you guys. Thank you to those of you joining us on our brand new Twitch channel. Please follow us, and we will.
You gotta
do
get
our
some games
very
going, Don
best.
Sean. I tell you,
Hey man, hey, with that new AEW game coming out, we might.
we gotta get some
Otherwise,
game waves
though,
going. If we're
we
gonna be
got
on the
some
Twitch wave, we
gameplay
gotta
going.
collaborate with the Twitch community, man.
But thank you guys so much to everybody who's joining us. Just shoot us a follow, shoot us a like, shoot us a subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at the Talking Elite Show. Pretty much as it says, at the THE Talking Elite Show.
And you can get us
SHO.
on Twitter On Twitter at The Talking Elite.
And you can follow us, like our page on Facebook, The Talking Elite Show. Like our channel, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, The Talking Elite Show. Thank you guys so much. As you heard us talk today, we spoke about AEW's Full Gear, our predictions for some of the future champions. We spoke about Ring of Honor's Honor for All. We spoke about New Japan's Battle in the Valley. We talked about some MMA. We talked about the UFC fights, the Bellator fights, and some future stuff coming up. We talked about possibly
Survivor Series? Art form of Survivor Series.
We spoke about sports entertainment. My bro St. Polo gave you his thoughts. Your boy the Don Sean gave you his thoughts. And
at the end of the day, man.
Guys, man, I can't. Before we end, WWE.
Oh Lord.
What
oh God.
the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
He's giving you guys the eye. Vince, you better listen.
Vince, I'm not talking to Vince Russo. I'm not talking to Vince
business.
Russo. I'm talking to Vinnie Mac.
You too, Pritchard.
Please.
You too, Bruce Pritchard.
Whoever, Shane Helms, Beth Phoenix, whoever the fuck is responsible for this atrocity.
Paul Heyman, you're the only one who's excused from this.
Wash your face with nice cold water. And
Paul Heyman, you're excused.
Something better than only Roman Reigns. Please restore order to this great talent that you're wasting. And just make us fall in love with what you're giving us again. Please.
I ain't got to say much because Don Sean is doing
it. The casuals, but we are the hardcores. We have been here since day one, and we want some damn respect.
I think we should cue some classical music because that is just the way you end it, my man. This is some clear-cut shit that you just said. Now that's good shit right there that you just said.
That's real good shit.
That's real good shit. You feel me?
But guys, thank you guys so much. As we mentioned last week, stay tuned because the Surprise Supreme giveaway will 100% be announced this week. Will 100% be announced this week. We appreciate you guys so much.
Can I enter this?
Anybody can enter.
Anybody can enter.
Listen,
wavy.
Anybody can enter. You guys will read the instructions. I will let you know in the instructions how many entries are maxed out. Guys, thank you guys so much again for joining us. And we know it's late. If you're joining us on the East Coast, thank you guys for joining us. If you're joining us on the West Coast, thank you guys for joining us. If you're joining us from East Bumblefuck Nowhere, thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate
you. Join us at any time zone. Thank you for joining us, guys. This has been Talking Elite.
The Don Sean.
And I've been your guide, your brother St. Polo. This has been our second episode in the penthouse. Talking Elite, a different perspective.
Always.
Don Sean.
Remember, guys, think elite, dream elite,
be elite.
Finally,
talk elite. As
see
my boy Eddie Kingston would say, tip the waitress, try the meal.
You want to taste? You want to taste?
Hey, give it some more, man.
Have a great night, guys.
Take it easy, guys.